You know, I got robbed all my grandmother's rings. I got like $900 from the pawn shop. I was like, holy shit. And then like got $700 worth of dope and took a bus back to LA. Ran out of dope in Ohio and kicked on the bus back to LA.
Damn.
Got
How
back
much
to
dope
LA.
were you shooting?
A lot.
Yeah.
I was mixing it with Coke. So when you speedball, it goes.
Yeah,
a bundle of dope, which is 10 bags of dope, will go in fucking 3 hours if you have cocaine, right? And then you got just a bunch of cocaine left over. So now you're just shooting cocaine. And then it's like, you know, you start seeing shadow people everywhere, like you're watching fucking Ghost, you know, and like ants are crawling on your skin, all kinds of crazy shit,
Not to mention
right?
you run out of dope and start shooting cocaine.
Yeah.
Not
and
a
the older
fun
I'm getting, the longer it's taking to kick. Right, the longer the withdrawal is taken. So I'm not 26 anymore.
Right.
Now I'm 36. Now I'm 40. Now I'm 42. I keep coming back to AA, but I keep thinking that I got it. I keep thinking that osmosis is gonna. I'm gonna snort a line of osmosis and just get it. You know what I mean?
Click.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna listen to the guys that do the work, and I'll be cool. Right? I still think like that. It's crazy.
All right, we are back with another episode of Get a Grip podcast. We have Jason Christopher with us today, all the way from Sedona, Arizona.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was the trip?
Long. Yeah, I love flying.
Painful?
No, it was all right. It wasn't that bad.
Flying's tough for me. I get crammed in. My long-ass, lanky-ass legs don't do too well with
yeah, I'm 5'8", so I'm good.
You're safe.
Yeah, and my girlfriend's a flight attendant, so
Yeah, you were talking about that.
I fly for free.
You can just fly wherever.
Usually fly Comfort Plus.
Oh.
At least leg room.
Wow.
So it wasn't that bad.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Happy for you.
Thanks.
Did you grow up in Sedona?
No, I grew up in Woodstock, New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about your childhood and growing up in Woodstock.
Well, I was born a poor black child. No, I'm just kidding. That's the intro to The Jerk. You guys are young. You might not know that. Steve Martin's best movie.
Yeah, I'm not the movie guy. If Aaron was here, he'd know it.
Oh, yeah, you guys are lacking a host. I feel so special.
Don't worry, I'm the better of the half.
I'm glad I got
Don't
the
tell
best.
Aaron I said that.
Glad I got the best.
Yeah.
I grew up in between New Jersey and Woodstock, New York, which is the hippie capital of the world, next to Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, I guess. It's where the concert
I was going to say, I think Woodstock would be the hippie spot.
Yeah, I mean, Haight-Ashbury was like, you know, it was all the same time, I guess. I don't really know. I wasn't born yet. I was born in 71. But yeah, that's where I grew up. So like in Jersey, I had like these two different lives, right? Like in New Jersey, everybody's like a beer drinking fucking jock, watch football. Everybody, you know, you like go to high school and then you work for the town after that. You never leave the state, you know, you never leave the county.
Put.
Yeah, like all my friends still live in the same fucking houses we grew up in, probably.
Jesus
pretty
Christ.
much. And then Woodstock was a little more eclectic. You know, there was artists and music and psychedelics. It was like not the 60s, but the 80s were pretty close to that.
And you're a musician, right?
What was that?
You're a musician.
I'm a musician, yeah. Yep. And so like I would drink beer when I was a kid. I would like, all right, let me start by saying this. There is an old Oscar Wilde quote that is, we create our habits and then our habits create us, right? So me growing up, I hated alcohol. I hated weed. I hated the way any of that shit made me feel, but all my friends did it, right? So I either had like no friends or I got loaded. That was like the way it worked, right? So I would be at keg parties in the woods and literally I would like fill up the red cup and then I'd dump it out when nobody was looking. And then I would act drunk. This is when I was like 11 or 12. You know?
Okay.
13, 14. You know, I did it a long time.
So you did it to fit in.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we did when we were kids. You wanted to fucking have friends and you had to party We had to pop the trunk,
Yep.
grab the case. You know what I mean? Blare the music.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I think a
No.
lot of people go through that.
Right. But like, you know, you hear a lot in the rooms that like, I fucking took the drink and then I was home. You know, I fucking could breathe finally. Like that was not the case for me. I breathed fine. I just wanted friends and I wanted to be cool. And growing up in that era, the early 80s, and I was like automatically a metalhead. I loved heavy metal. I always loved heavy metal. So all those magazines, we would buy rock magazines back then. We didn't have anything. There was no internet. So like we found all our shit through magazines on the stands and 7-Elevens and stuff. And all the heavy metal acts were like, all the pictures of those guys, they'd all have a beer in their hand. Metallica always had a Grolsch or a fucking Heineken or a bottle of Jägermeister. And they were always like cold and condescending. And so
Condensation.
Condensation.
Yes.
God, my stomach. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I did hear that one.
God damn, dude, that's great. All that fucking Drake took me to an AA meeting where they just had Cremora and really black coffee.
Just oil.
Yeah.
Just
and
straight
I had,
oil.
like 4 cups of Sunny D. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm 55. I can't be doing that shit no more. So my stomach's a little like, what are you doing, dude? So anyway, I would pour the beer out at the keg parties, and then like my friends would like be like, smoke this, and I'd like smoke weed and get so fucking paranoid and crazy, and like I just hated it. I grew into it over the years. I adapted and I adjust. Yeah. I adapt and I adjust, and that's what I did. So by the time I was like 15, 16, I was just a full-on fucking garbage head. And I was like...
You were already...
Yeah, I went to high school in New Jersey at that time. And we were like 20 minutes away from New York City. So in the 80s in New York City, Times Square was gnarly. You probably see documentaries on it on Netflix now. But like there was just head shops and porn stores and fucking Triple X movies everywhere. Like Times Square was gnarly. And we would take the bus over there for like 35 cents or whatever it was. And God, I sound so fucking old. We would take the bus and walk 2 fucking miles backwards uphill
2
in the
pennies.
snow. Yeah, you know. Cigarettes were 75 cents a pack and fucking whatever. They really were. And we would take the bus over to the city and we'd go to the head shops and we would buy bottles of Rush, which is like fucking paint thinner or something.
Okay.
Like really industrial fucking, you'd like snort it and just be like, and literally put cheese holes in your brain. And
perfect.
We would buy these whippets, the nitrous with the cartridges.
Yep.
And we would buy like proto pipes, which were these like little brass pipes with like all these new fucking like we just had like wooden bowls and apples that we would smoke out of. And then like they just started making all these crazy little pipes and bowls and stuff and bongs and shit like that. So we would go to the city, buy all these things with our fucking allowance, and then just like get loaded on the bus ride home, dude. All you'd hear in the back of the bus is like, you know what I mean? And like we just take fucking acid and mushrooms. Like it really progressed fast, you know? Like I went from like 12, 13, dumping beer, hating weed, to like 15, 16, bammo blammo, I'm fucking like
candy
seeing
flipping
the universe.
Fucking, yeah,
you know?
I
I'm
was
just
about
like,
to say.
wee, this is so fun. And
acid and mushrooms at the same time at that age is...
Yeah, well, my friends in Woodstock were all like, a bunch of them would go on tour with the Dead and just deal drugs in the parking lot. You know, at like 16 years old, they were pretty savvy. And then they'd come back from tour with fucking tons of drugs and they would just pass them around to us. And we would hang out on the Green, which is the center of town. If you've ever been in Woodstock, New York, the center of town is called the Green. It's where all the shops are. It's a big tourist town. All the people come shopping there. And we would just hang out there all day and all night, every day, every night. And the cops kind of just liked us being there because they could keep an eye on us. It was kind of like that mentality that your mom, the cool mom, had. Like, you guys could party here, so I know you're not going to get in trouble, right? Like that's how the cops looked at us, and we felt indestructible, and we kind of were. I mean, like we would just fucking blaze ass on the Green, and nobody would say anything, and we would just terrorize the tourists. It was super fun. We had a great time, but
yeah.
So that was that. And that I got kicked out of every fucking grade from like first grade to
I was gonna
ninth
say,
grade.
Did you graduate?
I graduated. I got sent in ninth grade. I got kicked out of Beckton Regional High School in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It was the first high school in the world to randomly drug test students. It was in 1984,
Whoa.
I think. 80.
In the 80s?
Yeah. 83 or 84. It was big Just Say No, dude. Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan. His wife was like the Just Say No.
Yep.
The PMRC was like Tipper Gore. Al Gore's wife was like, fuck it, you can't say fuck on records. They were putting like, that's when they started putting the stamps on the records, the warning labels.
Yeah.
And we were the first high school. I'm just going to stop talking every time my stomach makes a noise. It's going to be so fun. And we were the first high school to be randomly drug tested. So I was like on the news.
That's wild.
Yeah. There was like news cameras out front of our high school all the time. And I was like the first one there every day. And I was like this stoned little 13-year-old. And I'd be like, they're fucking invasion of our privacy, man.
It's not cool.
My mother would be like, oh my God. Like watching me on the Channel 7 news every night. Like, oh my God. And,
that's wild in the 80s to randomly drug test at a high school.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't
well, I mean,
think of a high school
you
today
couldn't
that
fucking,
does it.
you couldn't smoke, you couldn't have a seed of marijuana. In the beginning of that Just Say No campaign, and the school zones were created. That's when the school zones were created. You can't have drugs within 500 feet of a school zone. Back then it was like 10 feet, and there was like fucking nine schools in my town. Like you couldn't go anywhere. If you had a joint and you got caught with it, you'd go to fucking prison back then for like 20 years. Yeah. It was crazy. And the cops were all jocks where I grew up in Jersey, in that part of New Jersey. Like Woodstock was different because like it was a hippie town. Everybody was like real lax and used to it. But like Jersey was like football. Fucking if you don't drink beer, if you do anything but drink beer, you're a fucking heroin addict. And you're, so I had long hair and an upside down cross in my ear and like work boots and ripped jeans, kind of like exactly how I'm dressed right now, but with a haircut.
Okay.
And with long hair.
Okay.
And the cops would just fucking roust me all the time. I'd be walking down the street, they just pull over and throw me against the wall, fucking search me, all kinds of shit. So I just lived in fear.
Just because of the way you looked.
Yeah. And because I probably had drugs on me and down my balls all the time.
And they knew that.
Yeah.
Did they know that?
I mean,
did you have that many run-ins where?
Yeah, but it wasn't like, I didn't get arrested all the fucking time.
Like, oh, there's Jason. I'm going to fucking bag and tag him real quick.
Yeah, no, they never did. It was never anything like that, but they always rousted me. They always terrified me. They always terrorized me. And they'd drive by real slow and look at you, or they'd get out and be like, get against the wall. And they'd like pat you down, but they were homophobic, so they'd never touch your balls. So I'd get away with it because that's where all the weed was all the time.
Okay.
And, yeah, so it was just, whatever it was, like that's, I think most kids growing up deal with that kind of shit, right? So like, then it's like moving on. So ninth grade, I got fucking thrown out of my high school for starting like the biggest food fight. It was like Animal House style food fight, which is another movie from the 70s that's great that you kids should watch.
I am familiar with that one.
All right. And I got sent to a continuation school with bars on the windows and the psychiatrist for teachers and all that kind of stuff. There was like 80 kids in the whole school and like 10 kids to a class. You didn't go to different classes. You just sat in one room all day. And like, we had smoke breaks. I was 15 years old and I like brought a permission slip home to my mom for her to sign to have us 2 smoke breaks a day. Yeah. And she signed it. Like my kid's like, my kid's 13 now. If he ever came home with a permission slip to fucking smoke cigarettes, I'd break his wrists. But yeah, it was a different time. So yeah, so I sat in that school for 4 years and just learned how to fight and do more drugs. And I graduated with my high school diploma. I like they were like, if you could make it through, like if you got kicked out of that school, then you went to Rockley, which was like Bad Boys with Sean Penn and he played Richie Valens. You guys won't know that, but whatever. Another movie from the fucking early 80s that was awesome. But it was like they went to a juvenile detention. It was like a juvie.
Really?
Yeah. So like that was the big fear.
God.
If you got thrown out of
this.
Really. So you didn't get into too much trouble.
Very quickly when you get in trouble.
It does.
Like,
yeah. So I sat in that school, just kind of kept my mouth shut, my head down for 4 years. Graduated with my high school diploma, with my regular high school class. Like I remember going to my high school graduation. I had a couple of friends from that school, from the high school, from like freshman year. But now 4 years had gone by, and like they were like Jason Christopher, and like nobody knew who I was.
I was like, who the fuck is
yeah,
that?
they were like, who's that guy?
Fuck is that guy?
Like a fucking mullet and an upside down cross. I was just like, cool guy. Like grabbed my diploma, and I was like, yeah. And then we like stayed up drinking Coors in a can all night. Like I remember watching the sun come up. That's what you did. It was like tradition. You drink on the football field all night on graduation, and it was still working. It was still fun.
It was still,
I was
not a bad
living
time.
at my parents' house, working in a deli, whatever. Like not really a problem at all.
Right.
And then I started playing music when I was like 18. I got a bass. My mom got me a bass guitar for my 18th birthday, and I just started playing in bands. Like I was in local punk bands in New Jersey, and then I was like playing in this band in Woodstock. And
is that the first time you picked up an instrument?
Yeah.
18?
Well, my mom gave me her Gibson Hummingbird acoustic guitar when I was like 16.
Okay.
And I was like 15, and I would like kind of fool around with that a little bit, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And then my sister was sitting. She's 10 years younger than me, so she was like 5 or 6 at the time. And I had it like rest against the couch, and she was sitting there, and she went to get up, and she put her heel through the body of the guitar, and it destroyed it. So my mother gave it to one of her friends, Charlie, who fixed it and kept it, and that was that. And then at 18, I always felt like I wanted to play, right? But I didn't really know I could. And then I had a music class in this continuation school, and the teacher brought in a bunch of Casio keyboards, and then a little radio, and he was like, he played like a rock song or whatever, and he was like, let's see if you guys could just like play along to this. And I immediately started playing along to the song, and he was like, do you play music? And I was like, no. And he goes, you should. And that was like really all it took. And I was like, Mom, you got to give me a guitar. But I didn't want a guitar because it had too many strings on it, so I got a bass.
Okay.
Because it only has 4 strings.
Gotcha.
And then I just taught myself to play. I would literally sit in front of the radio on my bed with I had a little boombox with a CD player, and I would play the CDs, and I would try to figure it out on my own. And then I would play along to the radio, and I would try to just play along with every song that came on. Right. So like that developed an ear for me. Okay. I developed an ear over time doing that. And, I joined a progressive thrash band when I was like fucking 20. Called Once Over.
What is a progressive thrash band? What does that mean?
Like really like hard riffs, complicated riffy band. It wasn't just like dun, 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 it was like dun, 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 like all this crazy shit. Right? I call it math rock now, but
meth rock.
Math. Yeah, no.
Okay,
I mean,
not meth.
A lot of those guys did meth.
Okay, cool.
So you can call it meth rock.
Okay,
like Exodus
cool.
And all those guys they were very methy back then, but math rock, it's just like complicated shit.
Okay, I got you.
I'm not that smart. So, but like I could play. Like I went to try out. I drove to Newark. I took my mom's Subaru wagon and this fucking Yamaha BB300 bass that I had. I drove to this audition. There were these this thing called the East Coast Rocker, the EC Rocker, and the Weekly Aquarian. They were just rock magazine. They were like magazines that came out every week, and in the back of them, they'd have all the ads for the bands. And this one band was looking for Slayer, all the metal bands that I liked. They were like Slayer, Exodus, In Vain of Metallica, and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, I'll go check these guys out. So I went to these guys' basement, kind of like this, and they had a little drum set up and amps and stuff, and they were like, well, just sit here. I plugged in my bass in their little thing, and they were like, we'll play you some of our stuff, and, if you want, you could try to chime in, and we'll just see how it goes, and they started playing, and I immediately just started playing with them, and they were like the guitar player stopped, and he was like, do you want to be in our band? And I was like, sure.
That quick.
Yeah, so like that was that, right?
Damn.
And like I said, growing up, man, I would get those magazines and just see all those guys like crushing beer cans on their head, like all the rock videos, fucking Poison, and all the girls are on the tour bus and Hairspray and Yay and fucking.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. That's all I ever wanted to do was just get paid to be me. And
that's the dream, right?
Yeah, and just like bang a bunch of chicks and get hammered and fucking have everybody worship me because I could play these 4 strings things, whatever. And so I did that for a while. And I just played in this progressive thrash band, and we played all around New Jersey and stuff. And then I graduated that high school and did all that stuff and was just drinking all the fucking time and like nothing really crazy was in the picture. We would like smoke weed and just get drunk and we'd all hang out behind the factories when we were kids and like everybody would meet up. It was like Almost Famous, that movie Almost Famous, how everybody just kind of parks their car and pops the trunk and blasts the music and fucking woo, you know.
Party time,
Yeah,
wherever.
slow ride. You know what I mean? Like it was fun.
Okay.
So, but I always had that dream of like, I'm going to go play music. That's my deal.
I'm going to be the guy.
I'm going to be the guy. And so I moved, I quit the progressive thrash. I quit the progressive thrash band and joined this band called IDK, who already were established in northern New Jersey. They were like huge in North New Jersey. They would get opening slots. We would play this place called Studio One in Newark. And we would, Once Over would get like the first or second slot on like a fucking 9-band matinee,
Oh, wow.
right? But like the headliner would be like Life of Agony or Biohazard or Clutch or like a huge band
Huge
from
band.
yeah, right? So IDK always had the opening slot and they were great. They were like a pop punk band. They were super fun and like everybody loved them. Everybody danced and I loved these guys. And they asked me if I quit Once Over because I was just like, I don't know. I just like didn't like playing in that band anymore. And IDK asked me if I wanted to play bass for them. And I was like, oh. So that was like my first taste of like fame,
Yeah.
you know, like North Jersey hometown hero fame.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still friends with those guys. They still play. They're still great. I love them to death. But like all of a sudden, man, I was like in this band that was playing in front of like 300 people. You know what I mean?
That's
and it was
wild.
great.
Yeah.
And, my alcoholism took off. We were friends with this band called Dog Eat Dog, which is a hardcore band from northern New Jersey. They were like really tight with the New York hardcore community and all those guys. And I always wanted to be in that scene. Like I always wanted to be like a tough guy in fucking New York, standing on the side of the stage, watching fucking Agnostic Front. You know what I mean? Like I just always admired those fucking crazy motherfuckers. And so now I'm opening up for all these bands. I remember the first time we opened up for Clutch, and they hadn't come out yet. Nobody knew who they were. And I don't know if you heard the band Clutch, but they're a huge metal band. They're just an artist's band. Like other bands go to watch that band.
Oh, really?
When they play, right? Like
that highly respected.
Yeah, they're very respected. But when you're on tour and Clutch is playing, like you go watch Clutch because they're fucking dope. And I remember watching them for the first time ever. We just opened up for them. We brought like 500 people. The place was fucking packed, going nuts when we played. And then Clutch came on and everybody left because we were done.
Really?
And so it's me, my band, the sound guy, and like a couple of other people just standing there watching Clutch play. And I remember like they were fucking playing Jesus on the Dashboard and all this stuff. And it was their first record, obviously. And in between a song, it was so fucking quiet. I just remember looking at the guitar player going, "What's the name of your band?" And he was like, "Clutch." And I was like, "You guys are awesome." And then like a couple of months later, Jesus on the Dashboard came out and they fucking exploded. Right. Yeah. And now they're just Clutch. And, but like, that's what it was like for me when I was 20. I think I was 19 or 20. I wasn't old enough to drink in the bar in Studio One yet. So we would like hang out in the parking lot and get wasted. And then I just fucked that up because I was like drunk one night. My ego got out of control. And like, I said something from the mic that like my singer, I don't remember what it was really, but I remember my singer going, "Huh?" And like everybody in the crowd was like, "What?" Like I just said some fucked up shit. And then the next day they called me and were like, "Hey man, so we're going to go with this other guy playing bass." And I was like over it anyway because I was ashamed of what I did. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's cool, man.
Fine.
You know, I'm good. And like, that's how I just lived. You know, like I would do something shitty or shameful and then just be like, yeah, well, whatever, man. Of course, I'm a piece of shit. So like I would call myself a piece of shit, act like a piece of shit. You would call me a piece of shit. And then I'd be like, see,
I'm a piece of shit.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Told you.
That was that. I moved up to Woodstock and I started playing in this band Beast. We were like Mazzy Star meets Black Sabbath. It was a 3-piece girl singer, guitar player. I sang backups, played bass. We had a drummer, Hippie Joe Bones. And that's when I started doing heroin. And like immediately
Really?
just started snorting.
Just that quick.
Yeah, like I moved up to Woodstock and the drugs were always harder up there. You know, like Jersey, everybody just drank beer, threw footballs around,
Sure.
listened to fucking U2 or whatever the fuck. And like Woodstock, people listened to like Primus and Susie and the Banshees and fucking Black Flag and shit like that. And like did acid and drank fucking old Granddad 101 and did bunches of blow. Like I just did I would drink and do a ton of blow and then have to come down.
Yeah.
So like somebody gave me a little heroin and I'll never forget it, man. Scott Piazza, he's dead now. He got shot in the back in the city on a bad deal, I think, from what I remember hearing back in the day. We've known each other since first grade, right? First grade, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. First grade, Holy Trinity School in Garfield, New Jersey. Scott Piazza brought in a little picture of boobies on a black and white piece of paper. And he opened it up and he showed me. And I was like, whoa, those are fucking cool. And my stepdad always had porn mags under the couch, Hustler magazines, right?
Okay.
So I remember going home that day and grabbing the Hustler mag and cutting out a fucking giant naked ladies with my fucking school scissors, the round ones, right? Not the pointy ones.
Yeah, the ones
the plastic
that are,
handles and shit. So I'm cutting all these girls out of the magazine and I put them, they used to have these little plastic treasure chests with Pez candy in them back in the day, right?
Okay.
And you'd open the chest and you'd eat the Pez candy. I had an empty one. I took all the naked ladies and I folded them up and I put them in that treasure chest and I brought them to show and tell the next day in first grade. And that's when my first expulsion.
You brought it to show and tell?
Yeah, I brought it to school Friday morning and was like, fucking boom. I didn't know it was bad.
Oh, so you
I was 7.
To the class?
Yeah, I was like 6 or 7, right? So my mom
So you weren't just like showing your buddy.
No.
You were fucking showing the whole class.
He knew better. I didn't.
Okay.
I was just like, I'm going to one-up you, motherfucker.
Well, you sure did.
I sure did. That was my first expulsion from a school. And it's funny because I skipped kindergarten because I was so smart. I had a 3rd grade reading level when I was like 4 or 5 years old. So they were like, he's so smart. He's just going to skip kindergarten. We'll put him right into first grade. Worst mistake they ever made. Right? So I get thrown out of first grade. And that was Scott Piazza. Cut to 21, 22 or something. And I'm working at the Mexican place in Rutherford, New Jersey on Route 17. And I only got that job because a bunch of my friends worked there. It was a fast food Mexican restaurant. And I only got that job because it's where The Toxic Avenger was filmed, which is it's a cult classic movie from the 80s. And Bridget Bardot, I think, and a couple other people. And there was a gnarly scene in that movie that was filmed in the Mexican place. And so we all worked there because of that reason. Yeah, we all worked there for that reason. All we did was fucking snort coke, take acid, drink. People would come in
at work.
Yeah, they'd be like, dude, we'd all be in the back making tacos, and our manager Nancy would be like, "I need someone to come out front and help me. It's getting pretty busy at the registers." And we'd all be like,
"No."
And she'd like look through the window and be like, "Are you all on acid?" And we'd be like,
"Yes."
Red faces, black eyes, just. Like she'd have
pupils are fucking
we couldn't
massive.
Fucking man the registers because we couldn't see our fingers.
Saucers.
Everything was just like. I remember my friend Jerry would be doing the dishes. He had long black hair, and I'd be like, "Jerry, come help me make tacos. I'm so busy." And he'd be like, "Jay, look at the bubbles." He'd have like bubbles on his hands. He'd be like, "Look at the rainbows." It was the funniest shit ever. So this guy, this Puerto Rican guy, started coming in, Sammy, and he was like, "Hey." He was like the coke dealer, right? So he'd come in and deal coke to everybody. We couldn't wait for that guy to come in. He'd come in around 10 o'clock on a Friday, Saturday night, and everybody would pool their money together. We'd get like a fucking half ounce of coke and just fucking do it in the back in the cooler all night long. And then there was an arcade next door called Great Escape, and people all hung out at that arcade. It was like, the hang, right?
Yeah.
So and then people would come into the Mexican place and we'd fill up their fucking sodas because they'd have whiskey in them or whatever, and they'd give us like they'd pour a little whiskey in our cups, and that's how it worked. So I started going to the city with Sammy to get 8 balls for like $20 in Washington Heights. It was the best. It was the 80s. The coke fucking, you did this and your whole face got numb. Like it was real cocaine.
Real good shit.
Yeah, it was like, Narcos cocaine. So it was the best, and
I can't imagine. I mean, I've done coke plenty of times.
Yeah, but not like this. Like it was the late 80s, and it was really You know, it was all Colombian. It was
shooting
fucking,
cocaine got me where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever done. I've had some raw.
I think if I would have shot this
rarely.
coke, I would have been fucking dead immediately.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah.
It
I
was
still in my.
It was that good.
Yeah, it was pure. It was so good. Like you'd go up into a room. He took me to Washington Heights, and I was so terrified, but I was like so cool. I was like, I'm the coolest guy in Mexico. I'm the coolest guy at the Mexican place, and he fucking took me to this place. Where were we, man? Like 178th and fucking somewhere in Spanish Harlem, I think. And we go up into this building, and it's just a fucking room. There's just like, there's guys everywhere with like guns just fucking standing around. And I walk into this room. There's a dude sitting on the floor, and there's a box in the middle of the room with a scale on it, and it's got a pile of coke next to it. And the guy comes over. He puts a card in the bag. He looks at me and he goes, "Do." And I got a fucking, so he doesn't know I'm a cop, right?
Yep.
So I snort the coke and I'm like, and then he's like, "How much?" And I'm like, $20. And he puts like a fucking poof on the scale, throws it in the thing, and we go, right? On the way out, I see Scott Piazza from first grade, who I see periodically here and there, whatever. He's a total heroin addict now, and he's walking down the street, and I roll down the window and I'm like, "Scott!" And he's like, "Yo, Jay, what's up, man?" And he fucking, I'm blown out of my mind. I'm chewing invisible gum. I got baby mouth. I'm just like, and he's like, "Yo, man, when you want to come down, try this." And he hands me a fucking wax baggie, folded up, with a fucking stamp on it, murder, whatever it said, red rum, you know. And I took it and I put it in my pocket, and we left. I went back to the Mexican place, and we would eventually get tired of snorting it, so we would just start cooking it up. You know, somebody would bring baking soda and some fucking chore boy, and we'd like get a fucking pipe and just start smoking it, right? And then I would get blotto and just be like,
"Oh yeah."
But I would have to drink to come down. It always took so long, dude. It was like the sun coming up, and you're like chugging warm vodka, whatever the fuck. So gross. So I was like, "Oh, I got this little fucking thing," and I just.
Perfect.
And it was immediate, and it was like a speedball because I was on so much coke. I did the heroin, and I was immediately like,
"Oh, Speedballs."
Dude, I fucking love you.
Yeah.
You're like my best friend.
Speedballs are my favorite thing in the entire fucking world,
me
dude.
too.
I swear to God.
Me too. So I do that, right? And now I'm like chipped immediately. I'm just like, "Oh, all right. This is what's up."
Yeah.
So now the drinking subsides, and I just start doing coke and heroin, and I'm just snorting it all the time. And I move up to Woodstock. I quit the bands. I move up to Woodstock. I joined this band Beast, and we really fucking fit into the early 90s Veruca Salt, fucking grunge, Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, Stone Temple Pilots, the whole deal, right? Everybody's doing heroin. It's so cool now, and blah, blah, blah. And we're like trying to fit into that niche. And everybody in Woodstock is like giving us a lot of attention because we're good. It's a great band. She's a great, so she was a great songwriter. She had a really pretty voice. I had like a good vibe. You know, I played the bass. Joe was like, and there's a lot of famous people that live in Woodstock. Like the Bad Brains live up there. Tony Levin lives up there. Todd Rundgren, all these classic artists. The band is up there. Big Pink, the whole thing, right? And so we play our first show in the Tinker Street Cafe, and Dr. No from the Bad Brains is sitting right there, like watching me, and I'm freaking out. We're friends. We used to work together at a fruit stand when I was 12, so I know him. But he's watching me play now, and I'm fucking crazy intimidated, right? So I'm like, little toot, and I'm good.
Good to
go. Just like, eh. So now I'm that guy, you know? I'm just like, I got to play with a bucket behind my amp in case I throw up, you know? Like, I'm that dude. So we start getting some traction with that band. People are offering us deals and this and that. Woodstock 94 was happening. We were supposed to play that. They had a bunch of local bands opening up the first day of Woodstock 94, so it was like a huge deal. And then we just we didn't get to play Woodstock because she didn't want to sign a contract or something. She had like bad record deals in the past, and it was like she had been experienced in California and went to Cal Arts and all this stuff, and I was like green as fuck. I didn't know anything, so I was just like following her lead. I was like, "Oh, whatever," you know. And,
you say so.
She was a waitress in the Village. She was a waitress in Greenwich Village. Woodstock is about 2 hours from New York City, right? So she would drive down. At this point, I'm fully strung out, but I'm not shooting dope yet. So how much time do we have?
Plenty. Yeah.
Oh, we can have a fucking 9-hour podcast because I love to talk about myself. Awesome. Yeah. So she would drive down to the city 3 or 4 times a week to go to work and then drive home. And I would take the ride with her. She'd go to work in the East Village at some posh fucking whatever. And I would go to Varick and Houston, not Varick and Houston, Mercer and Houston, where the Pink Pony was. And it was the Mercury Lounge and the Pink Pony and Arlene's Grocery. That was the dope spot in the early 90s. Okay. And so she would go to work and I would go cop dope.
You copping on the corner?
Yeah, I was the white guy on the block. The cops see me, they'd fucking pull me over. What are you doing? Whip, whip. What are you doing here, boy? And I'd be like,
know the deal. Yeah.
I'm meeting a friend. You know what I mean? But I had like bleached blonde hair. My fingernails were painted. Like I was an idiot. So I'd go cop and then I'd go back to her restaurant and I would like sit in the corner and write poetry like a fucking douchebag. And we would go back up to Woodstock and I would sell half the dope for 3 times the price. And that was how we kept our habit going.
Yeah.
And we would like record with we recorded at like the Bearsville fucking studios, which is massive. Bearsville Studios was like where Jeff Buckley did Grace and Metallica recorded like all these old 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all these bands were recording there. It's a really famous recording studio in Woodstock. And we were like snuck in there at night by this engineer Todd because he loved our band and like shit like that was happening. So I started getting this like taste of like, we're going to fucking make it. We're going to fucking make it. You know what I mean? Because like IDK already gave me that spark where I could play in front of a couple of hundred people. And I knew what that felt like. Now I wanted to play in front of thousands of people. And I was like, I always had that like, I'm going to fucking do it. You know, we're rock stars. And, we were on our way down to the city a week before Christmas in 1994, and that's what where my first book starts. Right, the book that I gave you earlier, "The Road to Nowhere," is called, and you can get it on Amazon, whatever. You can just get it online, whatever. I think it's still available. So this is where that book starts, right? And I wrote books. I wrote 2 books that are back to back. It's like a 3-part trilogy of novellas that I'm writing. I'm in the 3rd one right now. Okay. This is where this first one starts. And it's called The Road to Nowhere. So we're driving down to the city and one of my best friends, Peebo, is in the back seat.
Peebo. I'll have a nickname.
Yeah.
Or Jeremy. Is that his actual name?
Jeremy Bernstein.
Okay.
But his nickname was Peebo. Still is. And just one of my homies from Woodstock, nice Jewish boy. Very, not a junkie, not an alcoholic, just a normal kid that's rad, and we love having him around. But me and Jen are strung out and hiding it from everybody. Like we think we're hiding it from everybody, but we're not.
But you're not, right?
So, but like, he's in the back, so I'm bummed that he's coming down. We drove around the green, and he was standing there, and he was like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're going down to the city." And he's like, "I want to come." And he like jumped in the car, and we were like, "Oh, okay." So I'm trying to figure out the whole way down how I'm gonna fucking cop dope with him there and not have him find out. Right. Halfway down, they're talking about L.A. Jeremy had lived in L.A. before. Jen, my guitar player and singer, was from LA. She went to Cal Arts and all this stuff. She lived there for years. And they were talking about how warm it was and how cool it was. And it was like fucking 10 degrees a week before Christmas in upstate New York. Freezing. We're driving in a Hyundai hatchback with 2 blown out back windows covered in plastic with 200,000 miles on the fucking car.
Jeez.
And all we have is our guitars in the back seat. We have no money, nothing, right? And I'm like, let's go to LA right now. And she gave me this look that was like,
oh yeah,
I'll do it. And I was like, yeah. And Jeremy was in the back seat like, guys, I don't know. And I was like, dude, let's do it. And we were passing a sign for Route 80 West, which is the direct line to California, right? Route 66. It's like the new Route 66. Route 80 goes from New York to LA. As we're passing that sign, she took her hands off the wheel, and I turned the fucking wheel of the car onto Route 80 West off the New York State Thruway, and we just started heading west.
Really?
And that was that. But I've got a fucking heroin habit, right? The good news is I don't know I have a heroin habit, right? So
Okay.
I don't know anything about dope sickness.
You don't know about withdrawals.
I've never
yet.
seen the Basketball Diaries hadn't come out yet. I don't think. You know what I mean? Like nobody
Okay.
knows anything about anything except this shit feels really good.
Yeah.
So we drive all throughout the night through like Pittsburgh and shit like that, and we get to like the end of. We get through Philly. We get to the end of Pittsburgh, and we're like, we better call our families and just let them know what's up because it's like fucking 4 days before Christmas. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're like in our early 20s. We're still family orientated. It hasn't shit the bed yet on that end. And we all get on the payphone and we all call our families. My mom gives me the fucking riot act. Oh, Jason, what are you doing with your life? Blah, blah, blah. Same shit she's been giving me for years because I'm a mess, right? Her mom gave her the same bullshit, but we don't care. We're on a mission now.
You're going.
Now we're going. I'm like, my cousin at that time owned the Viper Room with Johnny Depp. And that was when, this is probably about a year after River Phoenix had died out front. And so it's all over the news. All you see is that club and how hot it is and how many famous people are hanging out and all the rock stars that are playing there. My cousin owns it with Johnny. So I'm like, guys, I have it in. Like, let's just get to the Viper Room and we'll figure it out, right? So we all get back in the car and me and Jen are like, yep, mom hates me. Yep, dad hates me. And Jeremy's in the back and he's like, guys, I can't go. And we were like, what?
No.
And he's like, Jewish guilt, man. It was like the middle of Hanukkah.
Got
His
him.
family was like, are you out of your fucking mind? No way. And that was it. Like we went and got a hotel room and a 12-pack and we just drank all night and like cried and said goodbye. He gave us his last $60, which gave us $80 to get across country. And that was it, dude. We dropped him off at the airport and we left. And we just drove. We stopped at the fucking Piggly Wiggly in Ohio and got a bag of carrots, jar of peanut butter and jelly, and a loaf of bread and a gallon of water. And we just took off. And that was that.
Wow.
And we drove. We made it all the way to fucking New Mexico. You could read the book for all that inside detail shit. But like we made it to L.A. And
How long did it take?
like 5 days.
5 days.
5.5 days. We like slept in the car with the heat on.
Yeah, I mean,
Holding each other. We started sleeping together. It got weird. You know what I mean? Like all the cool shit, you know? And I'll never forget, we pulled over the mountain on the 405 or whatever. And we're coming down the hill and you could see like the whole landscape of LA. And there was like a giant ring of, and I was like, look at that ring of fog. And she started laughing. She was like, that's not fog. She's like, that's smog.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, gross. I had this vision of like LA having fucking sand all over the sidewalks.
Like
perfect. And like
perfect.
ocean and beaches and everybody's in bikinis and shit, like a David Lee Roth video. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like that at all. But
No.
so like we had to go to the Viper Room. We had to get to the Viper Room, right? But it was Christmas and we didn't know anybody out there. She's like, I might have some friends at this coffee shop. I try to call the Viper Room. I call my aunt in Florida where my cousin's from. And she's like, my cousin was like pretty famous back then out there, right? Because the Viper Room was the hottest nightclub in the world and everybody wanted a piece of it, right? So I call the Viper Room and I'm like, can I talk to Sal? This is his cousin Jason. And they're like, yeah, sure it is. Click. And I'm like, oh, you know.
Damn.
He wasn't even there. He was like in Aspen for Christmas with Johnny or something fancy.
Good for him.
His aunt was like, oh, honey, he doesn't want anybody having his phone number. I was like, fuck you, we're family, right?
Right.
So we're fucked. I leave a message. I'm like, when Sal comes, I leave a message at the Viper Room, and I'm like, when Sal comes back, just tell him his cousin's in town, and he's got nowhere to go, right? So we go to this coffee shop in Los Feliz on Vermont and Hillhurst called the Onyx Cafe. It was like, I think it was where Beck got signed or something, you know, something weird. One of those fucking nostalgic, like, fucking Bukowski lived above it or some shit like that. Okay. One of those stories, right? There's always a story in LA like that.
Sure.
And, we pull up and we have no money. We have like literally $2 left to our name, I think.
Out of the 80?
Yeah. My mom wired me $50 when we got to New Mexico to get us the rest of the way. The 80 got us to New Mexico.
Didn't even get you to LA.
And I called my mom from a payphone collect. And she was like, oh, honey, Jason, I'm so worried about you. You know, fucking Italian mom thing, you know. So
not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, enabler to the fucking hilt. I love her. And So she gives me the $50. We make it to LA and we get to the Onyx. There's a parking spot right in the front, which is now knowing that place, just a miracle. And she looks out the window and she goes, I think I know that guy. And she knows him from when she was out there 10 years prior going to fucking Cal Arts, right? And we get out of the car and she's like, Michael Whitmore? And he's like, Jen? And they hug and he's with this dude, Jeff. And we all sit down and we spend our last $2 on this cup of coffee. And I am sick, but I don't know I'm sick. So I just think I have the flu.
You think you've got a bug or something.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like shit, you know? Luckily, I don't know I'm dope sick because otherwise I would have been a whole different ride.
Because that'll...
Mentally, it's all mental. It's just so crazy
Yep.
how mental that obsession is, which is what they talk about in the book.
Well, shit, when when you go to jail, detoxing in jail is much easier because you can't get the shit.
Right.
Prison's a different story, but...
Right. You just have dudes leaving sugar packets on your pillowcase and shit. And you're like, that's the best it's going to get.
Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah. So fucking... we sit down at this table with Michael Whitmore and his buddy Jeff, and we start telling them our fucking Guns N' Roses Welcome to the Jungle story. And Jeff is blown away by our story. He's like, you guys just fucking drove out here with no money and your guitars. Like, you guys are Guns N' Roses. This is so awesome. And his band had just got signed to Interscope Records. He was in a band.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in a band called Lifter, which were like a big LA band at the time. And he looks at me and he's like, well, where are you guys staying? And I'm like, well, my cousin owns the Viper Room with Johnny, and that sparked some interest as well. Mm-hmm. I'm like, but he's so fucking famous that he won't get I can't get a hold of him, and he doesn't know I'm here, and he's like out of town for like a week, so I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna like sleep in the car and fucking figure it out. And he's like, I just got signed to a record deal. We're going to Fort Apache Recording Studios in Boston to do our record for 6 weeks, and I just got a kitten. Do you guys want to watch my cat while I'm gone and like maybe try to get a job and pay the electric bill? And we were like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
for sure.
Fuck yeah.
So we're like, where do you live? He's like, right around the corner. And I was like, awesome. And I'm like, do you smoke pot? And he's like, fuck yeah. So we go around the corner to his house, meet his kitten, and we start getting stoned. And I immediately look at him and I'm like, hey man, do you do heroin? And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
what the fuck?
Swear to God on my son's eyeballs, this is exactly how it happened. I had seen Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction had this documentary called The Gift. And it's about just being a junkie and like we're a cop and like there was this place called 3rd and Bonnie Bray. You go down there and that's where you cop your dope, right? So sorry, my phone's going off. Yeah, so he's like, I don't have a car, but I've got this fucking expense account from the record label. That was back then when record labels just gave you money. And so he's got money. We have a car. I'm like, let's go. So we go down to 3rd and Bonnie Bray, and I'm so excited because I'm in The Gift. Now I'm in the fucking documentary. You know what I mean? And I remember we picked up this model that he was dating, Alexis. She was in like a Pepsi commercial. I thought that was the coolest thing. And she's sitting next to me. I'm in the back seat. Jeff's in the front seat with Jen. And we're just driving down to 3rd and Bonnie Bray. We get down to 3rd and Bonnie Bray. And we had one window left on the back of the car. And it was hanging off for some reason, right? So we cop the dope. We get it in our fucking... The dude spits it in our hands in the balloons, and it's disgusting because it's wet and slimy. And I'm like, what? And I get back to the car, and the window where Alexis is sitting is hanging off a little bit. So I go to pick it back up, and it fucking shatters all over her in the back seat. Bah! Just glass all over the car. And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, ah! Like crying, freaking out, right? Long, pretty blonde hair, just a perfect face, just covered in glass, cuts. Oh, it was great. So we all jump back in the car and we race back to her house. And it's New Year's. No, it wasn't New Year's yet. We go back to, no, that was New Year's Eve. Sorry. This is a couple of days before that. So Alexis wasn't in the car first, right? So that was New Year's Eve. We did that, but I'll get to that in a second. So we fucking go back to Jeff's house and he like opens up the drawer and busts out some needles, some syringes. And I'm like, oh no, dude, I'm cool, man. I just snort mine. And he's like, how are you going to snort it?
It's tar, huh?
Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean? How am I going to snort it? I'm going to fucking put it on my hand and and we'll be good. And he's like, dude, and he fucking opens the balloon and he unties the little wax paper, and it's just this little fucking.
You're probably like, what the fuck is
dude.
that?
I was like, rat shit. It was like a little piece of Tootsie Roll that smelled like vinegar, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And
real heroin.
I tried everything for like 2 days. You know, I tried chopping it up with fucking
mud puddle it.
Yeah, or I tried chopping it up with baking soda first, or whatever, and I just had this like big pile of shit, and I just was like trying to snort this whole pile of fucking baking soda. I got sick and just didn't get high really. And then I tried to drop it I tried pushing it in my nose and holding my nose closed, and it was like burning my whole face. And then I tried an eyedropper, and like we boiled it down and then dripped it in my nose. Nothing was really working. Like I was kind of getting high, but I was getting more nauseous than high, right? So Jen, who also never shot dope, was like, I'll try it. And I was like, it was taboo, dude. Like needles were like junkie shit. You don't do needles. That's scumbag. My buddy Mike's sister shot dope, and all her friends were fucking, we called all her friends like French fry and shit like that, because they were all just like, you know? So fucking, she shoots it. She falls back on the bed. She's like, what was I waiting for? You know what I mean? And then I was like, okay, just Let's do it. And that was it. That was like the beginning of that journey for 20 years.
What was that experience like? How'd it feel? The difference?
I mean, it was just like that scene, and there's a scene in Basketball Diaries where there's just like, or like Train Spotting, or all those junkie movies that they fucking shoot up in, you know, like Pulp Fiction when John Travolta shoots up for the first time, and you're just like, you know, that's when I was like, oh, I'm home. You know, like, like I didn't get it from the drink. Right. I didn't get it from the fucking Coke. I got it from that shot. Right. And it took a couple of years, dude. I was snorting that shit for years. So now that journey begins where I just start trying to figure it out. You know, I'm like trying to shoot myself up. I got bruises all over my fucking arms, abscesses everywhere. God. I'm fucking throwing up left and right. I'm overdosing. I don't know what the fuck is happening. My band is starting to get a little traction in LA, and we're starting to get the same thing that was happening in Woodstock, because we're a decent band. And my cousin finally calls me, and I hook up with him at the Viper Room on New Year's Eve. And there's fucking shares there, and the Counting Crows are there, and all this crazy shit's going on, right? And I meet my cousin. Was
hanging out?
Yeah, the Viper Room was insane back then. But I hadn't seen my cousin since I was 16 years old, right? So now I'm 21 or 22, I think, or something. And I meet him again for the first time, you know, and we hug, and you know, me and Alexis and Jeff and Jen are all at the Viper Room, and there's a line around the corner to get in, and everybody's like, who the fuck is this guy? And they open up the velvet ropes and they let me right in. I feel like I'm fucking
God.
I'm Christian Slater. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I feel so fucking famous.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
And we hang out there. We have a couple of drinks. We end up going back to Alexis's house to shoot more dope. And that was it. And then I lasted a year. I got a job there, like stocking beer during the day, which was crazy because like so many famous people hung out there during the day. Like just before the club was even open, they'd come hang out with the manager of the office and my cousin, because my cousin was there all day and he was like famous. So the fucking doorbell would ring and it would be like Christina Applegate or like Tracy Lords or fucking Adam Duritz from the Counting Crows. Like I'm in the new Counting Crows documentary. There's a picture of me sitting on Adam's shoulders that they used.
Really?
Somebody just hit me up. I was like, dude, are you in the new documentary of the Counting Crows on fucking Amazon or whatever, or Netflix? And I was like, what? And I like watched the documentary. I was like, oh my God, that's me from 94. It's wild. Really funny. So just crazy shit like that started happening, man. I was working at the Viper Room now, and my band's allowed to play at the Viper Room now because my cousin owns it, and I got fucking right. You know, now my ego's starting to get a little big, and starting to get better at shooting dope. And then my buddy Ricky Mahler from Circus of Power, an old New York rock band from the 80s. He's sober 5 years at the time, and we're standing out front of the Viper Room on Sunset Boulevard, and he looks at me, and he goes, I got a short sleeve shirt on because I didn't have all my fucking long sleeves had blood stains all over them and bleach stains and shit. I'm that guy. I got bleach stains all over my clothes now, like spurts and blood and all this shit, gross shit. And he looks at my arms, and he goes, how's that working out for you? He was like an old curmudgeon from Canarsie, you know?
Yeah.
And, he goes, you want to go to an AA meeting with me tonight? And I was like, I had nothing to do. So I was like, okay.
Really?
And I went to this Friday night meeting called Tar Pits 1995 it was.
I'm shocked you took him up on that.
Yeah, I had nothing to do, man. And he
in...
sold it. He was like, hey, there's fucking hot chicks there. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went. And I walked in and I saw like fucking rock stars and famous actors and hot chicks and models. And I was like, and it was fun and it was funny and it was like a nightclub. You know, it wasn't like an AA meeting.
Right.
It wasn't like the AA meeting that I just went to with Drake. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Like it was a fucking Where Are They Now episode on VH1.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh, this is pretty fun, but I am not ready to stop shooting dope.
No.
You know, I just want to come hang out and have fun.
Yeah.
And that was it. I just like started going to meetings and then I started shooting dope and hiding it. And I was working at the Viper Room and I lasted about a year. And then I just got like evicted from my place. My cousin was sick of my shit. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I got thrown out of the band. And I took a bus.
And this is all a result of the drug use, I assume?
100%.
Okay.
And my ego, my asinine, fucking obnoxious behavior. I was so arrogant.
Well, I mean, look what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I get on a Greyhound and I get, my cousin gives me like $200. I spend 70 of it on a bus ticket, the rest on heroin and a couple of syringes. And I get on a Greyhound back to New York. 2 days and 23 hours is the distance from LA to New York on a Greyhound. And my dope runs out in Texas. So now I'm kicking heroin all the way back with no money for food or drink.
Or anything.
Nothing. I am just on a bus now kicking dope in one of those fucking little seats that don't go all the way back.
God,
and the bus is packed. There's like
terrible.
There's like 60 people on it. And I get back to New York and I hit the ground running, dude, because now I'm back in the city. I called my friends from payphones on the way back. I was like, you got to meet me here at the Port Authority as soon as we land at fucking 3:15. You know, I had them waiting for me with a rig loaded, and I got there and like went right into the bathroom, shut up, and that was it. Back off running. But now I'm shooting dope. But now all my friends in Woodstock are shooting dope too, because it's all developed, it's all progressed,
Gotcha.
right? There's no AA. There's no sobriety at all, right?
Nothing.
So like that lasts for a couple of years. I end up robbing a bunch of places in town that were closed.
When you say robbing,
well, I couldn't find my dope dealer. He wasn't answering the phone, and so I had got a bunch of Klonopins from this chick. So I took all these Klonopins, and it was winter. It was February. It was 1996. It was only a year. I'd only been home about a year, right? So it's a year to the day almost that I come home. I'm peeing behind the pizzeria on the green in Woodstock, and I noticed the windows open like this much, and it's like 2 a.m, right? And I look and I'm like, I used to work at a deli, so I know they keep morning money in the register, like at least $20-$30 in change, singles and quarters and shit like that. So I fucking go to the window, I open it, and I climb in, and I had just seen Basketball Diaries. It was huge back then, right? There's a scene where one of the kids is just sitting in the ice cream shop that they're robbing, drinking a soda while the cops are passing by and shit. And that's exactly what happened. I go in there, I see the register. I know I could put the key in, turn it to Z or amount tended, and hit the fucking enter button, and the register would open. And that's exactly what happened. There's a 10 in there, a couple of 5s, some singles. Perfect. It's just what I need to get a couple of bags of dope.
Get by.
I take all that shit and I put it in my pocket. I go in, I grab a fucking grape knee high, and I pop the cap, and I'm sitting in a corner table, and the cops are rolling around the green, just like, you know, looking and just doing their
job. Yeah.
But they don't, you know. And then I'm like, well, I wonder how many other fucking stores have their windows open. So I just start going around to every store in town. And I hit like 5 or 6 of them. So I've got like $80 in my pocket now in quarters. So my pockets are like
it rolled up or just fucking
no, just
fucking
quarters. They were just in the fucking slots.
Okay,
so I was like dimes, nickels. You know, I left the fucking pennies.
Yeah.
And this one last was a plastic stained glass window, and I saw the register was right there. Right, so I take my lighter out and I just burn a hole through it. And I burn a hole like this big, and I go to stick my hand in, but it's a fucking laser alarm, and the thing just fucking strobe lights, the whole noise deal. And Woodstock's a real small town, so the cop shop is right there. So I run and I hide behind a dumpster in the parking lot. It's like 5 a.m. by now, 5:30. And the cops are over there and I'm watching them from like the other side of the parking lot. And I'm like, I'm going to get away. And then all of a sudden a fucking garbage truck comes and grabs the dumpster that I'm hiding behind. And it's like,
lifts it up.
And I'm like, and I fucking look and I see the garbage truck guy driver and he's like, he's over here. And I fucking take off and they catch me like around the corner and they arrest me.
Dude fucking ratted you out?
Oh yeah.
What the
The
fuck?
townie, dude. They're all fucking cop friends with the cops.
Jesus
They're all
Christ.
jock dicks. You know what I mean? So fucking whatever. I get caught. I get sent to fucking. I tried to rat some dude out that like beat me for fake dope. Like he wouldn't give me a dope or he wouldn't give me a rig or something a couple of days before. So I tried to rat him out and like that
Get
didn't.
off.
Yeah, to get off, you know?
Yeah.
And that didn't work. And it was really weird, man. Like they brought in an undercover cop and I had to go with her to his house, but he was super paranoid and I was like, it's not going to work. And they were like, you got to do it. I was like, okay. And I just went up, became a total rat and like went with this dude, went with this chick, got up to his house. He freaked out. We left and I'm like dope sick as fuck now because it's the next day. I'm like still,
Oh my God.
you know, so I like,
still haven't gotten.
yeah, I got caught. I had all the money in my shoe.
Yeah, but-
I had the singles, the bills in my shoe and all the quarters in my pockets. So they took all the quarters and they put them on the desk in the cop shop and I'm like chained to the wall. And then they're, you know, so that didn't work. It was a total bust. And they're like, you got to go into the courthouse and see Judge Angle. So I like go into the courthouse and I'm cuffed, right? And he goes, Jason, you've been charged with like 12 B&Es, second degree, blah, 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 breaking and enterings and all that shit. And I'm like, fuck, man. And he goes, but since you were willing to cooperate with the police, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but we're going to release you on your own recognizances and you're going to have to do this again tomorrow. And I was like, what? And then the cuffs just came off. Like they took the key and I was like,
They gave you an OR bond.
yeah. And I walked out of the courthouse.
For how many B&Es?
Like 12.
What the fuck?
And because I was gonna rat the dude out
Well,
that
right.
they were trying
Yeah,
to
I
get.
understand you were working with them, but
so fucking I was like I
Christ.
didn't get it either. So I walk out of the courthouse and I'm still fucked up on the Klonopins from the night before a little bit, right? So I don't remember what I did really, but I had robbed everybody in town, and they all know me because I grew up there, and now I just walk through town like nothing happened. And I know it's daytime. It's like noon or 1 now in the afternoon. And all the store owners, I remember I was chained to the wall and I heard somebody come in and go, was it Jason Christopher? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck. Right. And then, so now I'm walking through town and all the store owners come out on their stoops and they're all like mad dogging me. And they're like, what the fuck? How is he out? And I ran. I remember being like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. And it all came back. Oh, shit. So I ran and I called my buddy who drove the taxi in Woodstock, and he came and picked me up, and I called my mom. Like we went, my dope dealer finally picked up the phone. Like he had a car phone,
time.
you know, and I called him and he was like, hello. And I was like, oh, but I didn't know if he knew. Like everybody knew. Like when my buddy picked me up, he was like, what'd you do, buddy? And I was like, I got greedy. You know, I'm like, I fucked up. I don't know what to do, you know? So like, he's like, lay down in the back seat. And I laid down in the back seat and I called my dude and he was like, hey, what's up? I just got back from the city. Everything cool? And I was like, can I come see you? Because I still had the money in my shoe from all the fucking stores I robbed.
They didn't
take my shoes off.
Oh, wow.
I was just hooked to a wall. And then I was like, I'll rat the guy out. And they were like, okay. And I went and ratted the guy out and I couldn't rat him out. So then they brought me back to the courthouse and let me go.
Let you go.
Fucking
That is
idiots, dude.
Wild.
Wild shit.
Wild.
Well, it's all in the book. And so John drove me up to my guy's house and I fucking got dope and immediately called my mom, who I hadn't talked to in like a couple of years. And she, like a good enabler, she came and picked me up. I was like hiding behind the Grand Union, the supermarket, you know, like she came and picked me up and I went straight to rehab. And that was my first rehab experience in 96, I think. Right.
What's rehab like in 1996?
I mean, there's no distractions. There's no cell phones. There's no TV. You know, the only TV is when they bring it in on Friday night for movie night and you can watch My Fucking Name is Bill W. with James Woods or whatever the fuck. You know, there's no cell phones. You could text your friends, whatever. They just had speakers coming in every night from H&I.
Just straight recovery.
Yeah, just straight recovery groups all day. I do remember going into the detox war. I was just in the detox, my first detox ever. And I'm laying there and I I remember the detox was full, so they had to put me on the pregnancy ward first. So I'm like in this fucking ward with all these pregnant ladies kicking dope. It was the craziest shit I ever did. And 2 days of that, and I don't remember anything. I was just so knocked out because I had shot all the dope that I just got. When my mom, I told her what happened. She was like, "You're not my son. I don't know who you are." And she like kicked me out of the car, and like I still had all my shit on me, and I fucking shot dope in the bathroom of the emergency room before I went and admitted myself, you know? And then they brought me upstairs. And so I just like slept in the fucking pregnancy ward for 2 days. And then they moved me to the detox. A bed finally opened, and the guy next to me was homeless. And I remember his feet stunk so bad that it woke me up out of my dead nod. And I was just like immediately sick. And I was like, blah, like fucking throwing up. But then I just went into rehab and did the rehab. There was no place else for me to go. I was looking at like 7 to 10 in prison
for the crimes
that I had committed. I called the cops. You know, I called Judge Engel from fucking Nyack, New York, and I was like, "Hey, I'm in rehab," and they were like, "Good for you. Stay there, and we'll just talk about it when you get out." Right. So I spent 28 days in rehab, going to groups, helping set up the groups. 7-8 days. I'm young. I'm still in my 20s. So like 3 or 4 days later, I'm fine. You know, I'm not dope sick anymore.
Right.
I'm physically better. And I just focus on the groups because I can't fucking go anywhere else. I know I'm not that dumb. And 28 days later, my mom picks me up. We drive to her house in Stony Point, New York. And the cops are in my driveway from Woodstock waiting for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
perfect.
I get out. But now I'm not dope sick. So I'm like,
right.
You know,
yeah, it's not as bad.
Take me to jail.
Sure.
You know? So I get in the back of the car. I get fucking 6 months with 5 years felony probation.
Okay.
I do
county time?
Yeah. I do the 6 months in county. It was like a fucking drug section of the jail.
Really?
They were trying this new experiment called CCP. I don't know, I forgot what it stands for, but it was like a dorm in county, right? So it's just like
it was a special like drug dorm?
Yeah, attached to the jail, but it was like 30 or 40 low impact criminals, just drug cases and like shoplifting and shit like that, you know, just a bunch of fucking idiots and me, the biggest idiot of all in the room. And like they ordered pizza for us on Friday nights.
What the fuck?
We got to watch
kind
TV.
Of shit is this?
Yeah. It wasn't like jail or anything at all, but I could still say I went to jail.
That's more progressive than some of the shit that's done today.
For sure. Well, when they say, "Are you a drug addict? Do you want to go to prison or do you want to go to rehab?" Like everybody claims drug addiction and goes to rehab because nobody wants to go to fucking prison, right? But this was like an actual program.
Yeah, that's why.
We went to anger management class for like 3 hours a day with Chris Gaddison, our spiritual advisor. Like it was crazy shit. We would just sit in this room and talk about our feelings all day. And so I did that for 6 months. And then I got out and I moved back to my mom's place in Woodstock, in Nyack, New York, like Rockland County. And I just started going to AA there. I had no choice. I was on 5 years felony probation. So if I fucked up, I was going away for like fucking 10 years.
You're gone.
Yeah. It was like that threat of Rockley when I was back in my continuation school. You know, I've always had like a looming thing. But I was the PO. I had to go to see my PO every Friday or whatever it was. And I was his model student, man. Like he was so excited to see me all the time because I was like in the program. I was like doing the work.
Those consequences, man. Fucking
I got chased into AA for sure.
Drive you to fuck. Yeah, I'd say.
But I was also just so happy that I wasn't dope sick anymore.
Yeah,
that it was like enough for me to hang out, you know. So I got a sponsor. I didn't use them. I started banging everybody in AA, and it's a small town.
Classic.
So I immediately fucked all the cute girls in like a week. And
not hard to do in AA.
Got one pregnant, then started dating her best friend. Everybody hated me, and that was that. And that's kind of like how my MO is for the rest of my life. And so I'm in Nyack AA now, and NA. I started in NA out there because I was a junkie, so I obviously think I have to go to Narcotics Anonymous. Yeah. I meet this guy, Rob. He's got dyed blue hair. He's listening to fucking Pennywise or some shit. No effects in his car is blaring out front of the meeting. I just kind of walk over to him. He rolls down his window. All his cigarette smoke billows out. He's got a big book in his lap, you know, and I'm like,
Jeez.
hey, man. Like, I don't know anybody in AA. But my only AA experience was that one time I tried to go in L.A. with Ricky.
Cali.
And it, you know, it was different, man. It was not a nightclub anymore. I was in Nyack, New York, and you know, the rough hang there. It's kind of like this, you know, like small towns, rough hangs, you know.
Okay.
And I meet Rob, and he introduces me to a bunch of dudes that are my age that have like 5, 10, 15 years sober, right? That I think's impossible. I think you got to be some old, weird, creepy dude drinking shitty coffee, smoking non-filtered cigarettes. That kind of sounds like I do right now, but I didn't sound like this 25 years ago. And that's what I thought AA was, you know, just like bikers in a basement, fucking miserable, you know.
Yeah.
And these guys were fucking cool, man. They were like good-looking guys. They had great jobs. They were funny as fuck. I never laughed so much in my life. And we just started hanging out, and that was like my first real experience with fellowship. And I still wasn't working the program. I was just into the fellowship, you know. And I got a sponsor. Lorenzo, this ginormous black dude.
Did you use him?
Like 2 or 3 years. No.
Okay.
I mean, I called him. I did what he told me to do. Told me to call him. He told me to start writing stuff down. So I was like writing stuff down. But I was also sleeping with Sarah and Addie and Lori and, you know, everybody.
Yeah.
And, but like Rob was picking me up at my mom's house, which was like a half hour away from Nyack, and drive. He would like pick me up at my mom's house and take me to a meeting, buy me a fucking cheeseburger, drive me home every night.
Damn.
He did that shit. I owe that guy my life for sure. Right. So,
good dude. Yeah.
And then like, you know, I met Johnny and Mike and fucking Ian and all these guys, man. And we would like go to bar. They didn't really show me the right way, but they kind of did in a weird sense. Like we would go to bars in the area to talk to girls or hang out, because there was nothing really to do after a meeting except sit in front of the fucking Starbucks or whatever, you know? Yeah. So we'd go to the fucking bars, and the bartender would like literally line up shots of water. And we would like, but what that did was like old timers are probably shitting their pants hearing this right now. Like, oh, you're going to get a haircut, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in a barber shop.
Yep.
And, but what that showed me was that it was cool not to drink or do drugs, because I was always embarrassed to say that I was sober for some, you know, I would always be like ashamed. I thought there was like this weird stigma attached to being sober. Like people always looked at you weird. Back then, sobriety wasn't as fucking cool as it is now.
It's becoming cool.
It wasn't on TV. It wasn't on podcasts. It wasn't on anything, dude. You were like in a basement with some crunchy motherfuckers, you know, and that was that.
Yeah, that was it.
So, like, you know, you'd tell people you didn't drink, and they'd be like, what
the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't trust anybody that doesn't drink.
Yeah.
You know, you got that weird uncle, you know. I don't trust anybody that doesn't drink, you know, or whatever. And so they showed me that it wasn't cool, you know, and that's how I took to it immediately. Like, people would be like, hey, man, you want a drink? And I'd be like, how much Coke you got? And they'd be like, what? Like, and I still do that to this day. Like, be like, you don't drink? And I'd be like, you ain't got enough cocaine. And they would like, some people get it, some people don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
I love it.
You don't want me fucking drinking, dude.
I might steal that from you.
You can. It's totally fine.
I might steal that.
Or I do like, you know, they'd be like, you want a drink? And I'd be like, you can't handle it, man. You ain't got enough alcohol on them shelves to get me on this motherfucking train, you know? So that's how I still do from that day. Like I remember we went to the first Ozfest in '99. And like all of us went together, and we went to the coffee place we used to hang was Esperanto's in Nyack. I think it was on Main Street. And we would get these fucking giant glasses of espresso, just like 10 shots. And they would line the inner glass with chocolate syrup and then coat it with whipped cream and fill it with ice. And we called them mochas, but it was just fucking cocaine. And we would like drink these things and then just sit in front of Esperanto's till they closed at like 2 a.m, just talking to people. And no solution, no sobriety, just straight up fucking dicks, dry as fuck, you know? But like, it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't drink. Nobody got loaded. Right? We all just did that. We went to meetings every night. We made fun of everybody that worked the steps, and we fucking went to conventions and banged all the chicks, drank all the Red Bull, sat in front of a coffee shop, We went to Ozfest together. I remember we went in the car. We all went to Esperanto's to get those drinks. And halfway there, my buddy Eric's like, we're sitting in traffic on the highway, and we all finished the mochas, and it's just quiet. Like, we're all talking, and then everybody finishes the mochas with like 20 shots in each glass, and everybody just gets quiet. And all of a sudden, Eric's just like, man, I don't feel so good. We all just start laughing. Because, like, dude, I used to be able to shoot an 8-ball and go hang out and talk to girls at bars.
Right.
But now, if I drink 2 cups of fucking coffee, I got to shut my phone off and hide in the bathroom for like 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, the tolerance level just gets shot out. So we go to Ozfest. We have a great time. I see Slipknot for the first time. I'm fucking Kitty and Ozzy. We're fucking banging our heads to Black Sabbath songs. Sober as fuck. Having the best time. There's dudes passed out all over the lawn. They've been drinking all day. We're stepping over puke. Everybody's miserable except us.
They're not being present. They're not there for the experience. They're not even fucking experiencing it.
Except for us. We got to see every song, remember every fucking moment. Had a great time. It was amazing, right? And that's just what my real introduction to AA was my real introduction to recovery was that.
That's interesting.
And I eventually moved to Manhattan. I started doing production work. I was a production assistant on feature films and video and like commercials and shit. Like, I would just, like, they put a headset on me and I'd stand there for fucking 15 hours and tell you can't walk that way. You have to go this way because we're filming, right? So I did that in Times Square for like a year, and ended up moving to the city with my friend Austin. We got an apartment together, and I had like I had like a year sober. I had 2 years sober. I was like accumulating time, and like I was starting to feel confident around my friends that had 10, 15 years. Cause like for the first year, you're just trudging through trying to get that 30, 60, 90. And then like, you got to get that 6 months, man. I want that chip. Cause everybody's fucking looking forward to it. You know what I mean? You don't want to let your buddies down. You get the 9 months, then you get the year, and you're like arrived.
Yep.
But then you got to wait
another year to get another fucking chip.
Yeah, well, they do 18 months in some places, right? So you only have to wait 8 months. It's like the Weiner chip, they call it.
Yeah,
I'm not getting enough attention.
I heard that recently, and I was like, what the fuck is this 18-month shit?
Yeah, so I got the year, and I was like in with the guys. Now they were treating me differently. You know, like they all treated me great. They all talked to me.
That's because you were the newcomer.
Right.
You were
the most treated me like a fucking newcomer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, pat me on I'm like the mascot or whatever.
Okay.
But now I got a year.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he's fucking serious. All right, big dog. You know, and now I'm playing with the big boys, it feels like. You know, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And so I just, whatever. I'm going to fucking meetings, going to AA. Now I'm doing production work, but that's taking up all my time. I'm 3 years sober. I get 3 years, and the production company that I'm working for on this movie called Time Machine, H.G. Wells' great-grandson was directing it. Pretty cool, I thought. And it was a remake of H.G. Wells' Time Machine from way back. And we were standing on a frozen lake in Albany for fucking hours. I was so miserable. And the AD comes up to me and he's like, hey, would you want to come out to LA and finish the movie with us? If you could like find a place to stay? And I was like, yeah. So the next night I like went home and told my roommate, I was like, hey man, I'm going out to LA to work on this movie for a couple of weeks. I'll be back. And he was like, you're never coming back. Cause like all I ever did was talk about LA and how cool it was. And I worked at the Viper Room and I know Christina Applegate and I'm so cool, blah, blah, blah. I could never get over that shit. I was such a fucking idiot. Still am a little bit. But I get on a plane and I go to LA. I'm sober now, 3 years. So Jen, my guitar player who kicked me out of the band for fucking overdosing in the rehearsal space and all this shit, didn't talk to me for a couple of years. She lends me her van to use to get back and forth, and I'm staying on her couch. And there's a sober coffee house called Top Fuel on Sunset Boulevard that I start hanging out at and making friends there. So now I'm like, I start working on this movie, and they put me in charge of the walkie-talkies, the radios. They're like, hey, we want you to be in charge of the walkies. So you pass them out to the crew, all the grips, the electricians, the fucking PAs, and you're responsible for all the radios. And I'm like, guys, please don't put me in charge of the radios. It's like the worst thing you could do. I'm just such a scatterbrain with that shit. And they're like, no, you'll be fine. Don't worry. The first week, I lose like 17 radios that are like $1,500 a piece or some crazy shit like that, right? So they fire me from the job. And I immediately call the Viper Room, and I'm like, oh, Sal, they fucking fired me. But now I'm sober, so it's different, right? Yeah. And I'm like, he's like, come back to work for us, right? So now I've got a hippie van, this yellow hippie van that Jen let me drive. I'm living in Los Feliz, which is like this cool, hip little area right around the corner from the Onyx, where we met Michael Whitmore and Jeff for the first time.
Okay, yep.
Right? And I'm going to meetings. Everything's fucking great. It's still a nightclub out there. AA is fucking cooler than shit. There's all these cool people there that I'm having a great time. I joined a band with these guys that own this clothing company that was like huge clothing company. They lived up in the fucking hills in Benedict Canyon.
Oh, really?
In Beverly Hills. So we're rehearsing in their basement, but they're not sober. These guys, they're growing weed, and there's like a pill guy in this room and a coke guy in that room, and like, you know, there's fucking...
You can't avoid it.
There's models and like Fred Durst and shit, all that stuff.
Fred Durst was around?
No, but like he was friends with all those guys.
Okay.
The company, the clothing company was called Kickwear.
You're like, yeah, the coke guy, the pill guy, Fred Durst, fucking in the corner.
They were real big with the new metal guys like Limp Bizkit and Korn.
Yeah.
They were the first clothing company to make raver pants, those big Jenko jeans. Yep. They were called Kickwear, K-I-K wear, whatever.
Okay.
And their fucking clothing company blew up, and all those bands were wearing their shit, right? So they're friends with all of them. So I was like, I'm going to make it. I've still got a shot. I can do this. You know what I mean? So like, I get back together with Beast for a minute. We try to rekindle some sort of band shit, but that doesn't work. It falls apart really fast. I joined this band with these guys in Kickwear, and now that's it. I've arrived. I'm hanging out with models up in the hills, fucking having lavish fucking rock parties. These guys know everybody, so like record labels are coming to see our band. The band was fucking terrible. It was the worst band I've ever been in my life. The guys were so sweet. All the guys, so sweet, but the band was garbage, right? But I'm playing it for all these people. I'm getting noticed, whatever.
Notoriety.
But AA is out the window. I'm just going to meetings to make appearances.
Infatuated with
I'm just making appearances at AA every once in a while to see if that hot chick is still there that wants to fucking sleep with me because I still have cool hair and my muscles and all that stuff, right? And then I'm sitting in... This is how fucked up the disease is. I'm sitting in a room with my singer, Ronnie, who does know nothing about recovery or AA. He's just a normal dude. He's got a shoebox full of weed that he's cleaning. And I'm just looking at him cleaning that weed. And I can smell it from where I'm sitting. We're just having a normal conversation that we've had for numerous times over the months we've been playing together. And it just, man, do a bong hit. And I was like, I had 3.5 years at this time. I've been there like 6 months by now. And I'm like, hey, man, pack that bong for me. And he just kind of looks up because he knows I'm sober. And those guys are garbage heads, man. They're just popping pills and drinking and fucking partying all the time, every night, all night long. And I would just sit there and like hang out with the girls and make people laugh. And then I'd leave, you know? And he's like, he looks at me like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, dude, it's cool. And he fucking gives me a bong and I do a rip. 3.5 years sober. I just rip from the bong like I've been doing it every day. And as soon as I take that hit, I'm like, all the fucking meetings and all the cheeseburgers that people bought me over the years, all my friends from Nyack for the past 3 years, Rob, Johnny, Sarah, Addie, my sponsor, Lorenzo, like it all just went like, and I was like, and now I'm just like, what the fuck did I just do? And I'm like, dude, I need a Percocet. There's a pill guy in the other room. I run to the other room. I grab a Percocet, 2 Percocets from dude, because my brain is going crazy, dude. I got to shut it off immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm fucking loaded. I may as well shut it off.
It's over with now.
I don't have to work a step on this bullshit. So I fucking take the 2 Percocets. I run to the fridge. I open it up. There's a fucking Newcastle right there. I grab it, pop it open, pop the pills, drink the Newcastle, and then I go sit in their heated pool and wait for the pills to kick in. And then the pills kick in. And I'm like, oh, dude, everything's fine.
We're good.
Yeah. And then that was it, man. I was off to the races. I started dating a stripper whose like grandparents were really famous and like a big director and a big actress. And now I'm hanging out with all these fucking rock star kids in Malibu. I'm hanging out with the Osbournes and all these fucking people. You know what I mean? And like the Adlers, like all these famous kids from Malibu that she grew up with. I'm now dating her. We live together above the Jackass guys in this fucking flat in the middle of Hollywood, right down the strip club, right down the street from the Crazy Girls, the strip club that she worked at. And like her family disowned her for fucking doing a Hustler spread. You know, like it's all full circle. Like I was cutting the Hustler magazine pictures out in first grade. Now I'm dating one of the fucking centerfolds, and you know I'm fucking popping pills. Now I'm with the Jackass guys. We're hanging out with fucking Johnny Knoxville and all these motherfucking crazy people, and having a great time. And AA just went away.
Yeah, because they were huge. Jackass guys were notorious.
That was massive back then.
They
were fucking massive back then.
Well, and they were huge partiers, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Insane. But they were all hanging out at the Viper Room, so I knew them from the guys from the Viper Room, and fucking Chris Pontius and all those guys were like always mulling around somewhere. You know what I mean? So like I was in, and I...
You ever run into Steve-O?
Yeah, we were friends for a minute. I did blow at his house one time before he got sober. He had a half pipe in his apartment. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We hung out there one night. We hung out there. It was pretty fun.
There's a documentary, and it shows that half pipe
in
his
that's
fucking
funny.
apartment. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there one time.
He loved whippets.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in this apartment on La Brea, and it's just a party every night, man. And I had gotten noticed from playing with that shitty band. Duffel Bag was the name of that band. And I got noticed by this guy, Sam, who was starting this band called New Dead Radio. Sam just died 2 weeks ago from alcoholism. He was like in his 40s. It was so sad. Yeah, brutal. I'm still mourning his death for sure. Very recent. I'm going to go out for his memorial in a couple of weeks. I got to drive out to LA and go to his memorial. He died from drinking, cracked his head open, didn't wake up. And I'm assuming somebody told me he started drinking again, and he moved to Louisiana, so it's been a minute. But anyway, he sees me play with his band Duffel Bag. He asked me if I want to join this band New Dead Radio, and now I'm playing in this band New Dead Radio, which is a fucking violent metal band. We were just like punk metal. We didn't give a fuck. Everybody had neck tattoos and like screamed and just tried to be as aggressive as we could. And that's like all I wanted. I wanted to just be the coolest guy on the stage, whatever. And we were hanging out at the Rainbow Bar and Grill every night, which is a rock bar in LA. It's the most famous rock bar in the world. And the Whiskey A Go-Go and all that shit, like Sunset Boulevard, rock and roll life. I'm living it. I'm fucking, now I have, me and the stripper fucking disintegrate and fucking blow up into fucking flames as it happens.
Surprise,
when you date them. Yeah. And, or me for that matter. I'm like a stripper on fucking steroids. And, so I'm playing in this band. This band's getting a lot of attention. We get signed. I'm dating a fucking porn star now, and I'm fucking just living the dream, dude. I'm Tommy Lee, you know what I mean? Without the money. You know, I'm still working at the Viper Room, making jack shit, but I live right behind it in a basement apartment with my buddy Kane, who also passed away, and having parties every night. I go to the Rainbow until it closes, and then everybody comes back to my house for the party. And people like Corey Taylor from Slipknot, Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, all these people start coming back to my house and just hanging out every night and partying. And
that had to have felt unreal.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was literally the fucking craziest shit that ever happened to me, right? And so one night we do a video. New Dead Radio does this video. We guerrillaed a bunch of cameras up to the top of the Hollywood and Highland, the Guinness Book of World Records building, and we shot a video guerrilla style, like no permits or anything, right? And we just had it all edited down and everything. And I brought everybody back to my house to watch the video, and Sebastian Bach was there from Skid Row. I'm not sure if you know who he is.
I don't.
80s hair band Skid Row was huge.
Okay.
He's the singer from that band who they don't play together anymore, but he does his own solo thing, right? And so he's watching the video, and he's like 9 feet tall, and I'm in a basement apartment, so he's always got to duck down, right? And he's like, dude, you're fucking amazing, man. It's like exactly how he sounds. You'd be dying if you knew who he was, because I sound just like him. But he goes, dude, you want to fucking come to you want to play in my band and come to Japan for 6 weeks? I'll give you $10,000, man. And I was so drunk and coked up and self-righteous in my New Dead Radio band that was like a punk metal fucking... that I was like, nah, man, I'm good. I love you, but I fucking hate your music, bro. Because it was like hair metal 80s shit. And where I grew up, if you were caught dead listening to that shit, they would murder you, right? So
okay,
you had to listen to like
that's
Metallica.
a hell of an offer.
Yeah, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like into my morals.
Right. Sure.
But like if you didn't listen to Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, all the heavy shit, like you were just a fucking you know what I mean? And so I said no, but I don't remember saying no. I woke up the next morning and my buddy Stick was standing over me going, dude, you remember what you did last night? And I was like, no. And he goes, Sebastian Bach offered you $10,000 to go to Japan with him for 6 weeks, and you said no. And I was like, fuck. And I grabbed my phone and I like called him immediately. He's like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, man. I just got someone to fucking do it for my old bass player's going to do it, man. But yeah, it's cool, man. I'll see you when I get back. And I was like, fuck, right? So I just blew that offer. And then, but what happened was me and the singer for Slipknot, Corey, would be at my apartment every night. We became best friends immediately. And we started playing guitar together, and we started singing together. We would sing for everybody in the house, and everybody loved it. And we immediately became best friends. We stayed best friends for many years after that. And but I would just, I would do drugs and get wasted and fuck my life up and ruin everything. And then I would have to go back to AA. Right. And I'd go back to AA and I wouldn't do the work, but my bottoms would be so bad that I would stay there for years sometimes and just hang out and not do the work, not help anybody, give everybody fucking herpes. And
how many
leave.
times you do that?
A lot. I've been to
bottom out, then just do nothing.
I've been to like probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 rehabs, a couple of psych wards, jail a bunch, and like numerous detoxes. Because I would always go back to New York and go to detox, get strung out in New York, go to detox, get strung out, go back to LA, take a Greyhound back. I kicked on the Greyhound bus probably 6 times back and forth. Like I would bring enough dope. I would rob my grandmother over my dead grandfather's jewelry and all his fucking their wedding rings, their pinky rings. And, I was like I was, a petty thief, dude. I was a punk and a bitch. And I wasn't going to really rob you like Drake. I wasn't going to strong arm you with a gun. I was going to rob you while your store was closed, or I was going to fucking rob you while my grandmother was sleeping. You know what I mean? Like the punk shit that we do. And, I got robbed all my grandmother's rings. I got like $900 from the pawn shop. I was like, holy shit. And then like got $700 worth of dope and took a bus back to LA, ran out of dope in Ohio and kicked on the bus back to LA.
Damn.
Got
How
back
much
to
dope
LA.
were you shooting?
A lot.
Yeah.
I was mixing it with Coke. So when you speedball, it goes.
Yeah,
a bundle of dope, which is 10 bags of dope, will go in fucking 3 hours if you have cocaine.
That is
right?
true.
And then you got just a bunch of cocaine left over. So now you're just shooting cocaine.
Oh,
and then it's like,
terrible.
you start seeing shadow people everywhere, like you're watching fucking Ghost.
Yep.
And like ants are crawling on your skin, all kinds of crazy shit.
Not to mention
right?
you run out of dope and start shooting cocaine.
Yeah.
Not
and
a
the older
fun
I'm
feeling.
getting, the longer it's taking to kick. Right, the longer the withdrawal is taken. So I'm not 26 anymore.
Right.
Now I'm 36. Now I'm 40. Now I'm 42. I keep coming back to AA, but I keep thinking that I got it. I keep thinking that osmosis is gonna I'm gonna snort a line of osmosis and just get it. You know what I mean?
Click.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna listen to the guys that do the work and I'll be cool. Right? I still think like that. It's crazy. So my last bottom was so bad. It was me and Evan Dando from the Lemonheads and his manager. hanging out. He just got blasted in the news for something. I just saw it on fucking Instagram. He like sent a video, an explicit video to a fan and had to admit himself. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just read it on the internet, so it must be. And
Sure, right.
So I'm on another relapse. You know, I had like a year and a half sober. I became a doorman in Los Angeles, and I'm working at all these clubs and shit. And it's real hard to stay sober doing that shit. But there's sober people everywhere doing it.
Yeah.
They're just doing the work, right?
Yep.
So like, and when you do the work, you could do anything you want.
You can go anywhere.
You can go anywhere. You can do anything.
Yep.
But I'm not doing the work. So every once in a while, it starts looking attractive to me, and I fall in. You know, and so my last relapse, I was out with the singer for the Lemonheads, and he had a black Amex card and was just giving it to me because I had the delivery guy. And we were just ordering fucking 10 minutes, no more. Hang up the phone, they'd be there in 10 minutes, give you fucking 9 balloons and a fucking 9 balloons of dope, 9 balloons of coke. Go back in the house. Me and Evan Dando are fucking sitting there. I'm making him play the first Lemonheads record over and over again on the guitar because I just love it so much. I'm living my dream still.
Yeah.
No job, no money. Haven't paid my rent in 4 months. The guys want to kill him. The guy that I'm subletting from wants to fucking hang me, right? So,
God, 4 months.
yeah.
How the fuck did you get away with that?
I was friends with him.
Oh, okay.
I'd be like, oh, I'll get it next month. I was working a door in L.A. at the Dragonfly with my best friend that became homeless that I was telling you about. And I was working a door at the hottest club of the night, of the week. That night it was the Spasmatics. It was this band that dressed up like the Revenge of the Nerds, and they played like 80s new wave rock, and they packed the place. And I would not let any dudes in unless they had girls with them, and only let girls in. So by 11 o'clock, there'd be a wall of dudes down the line waiting to get in, and people would give me like hundreds of dollars to get in. And I was making probably like $1,500 a night at that door. So I only had to work Sunday night, and I'd be cool for the week. But I was shooting so much drugs that I couldn't show up for that job anymore. And
you couldn't do it.
I had to go to work for 1 day a week from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Not even like 1:15 a.m. And I would make
3 hours.
Yeah, I would make almost $2,000, and I'd never have to fucking work for the rest of the week. But I would shoot that shit in a day, and that was it. And then I'd be hustling, selling shit the whole rest of the week. The pawn shop had my whole house over and over again from numerous times over. I couldn't even tell you how many times that happened.
You would rip through that much fucking
I was shooting coke,
dope.
dude.
Yeah.
And I was like hanging out with the coke dealers, so I wasn't even paying that much, you know? Like, me and Corey stopped talking because like he was just drunk. He didn't want anything to do with like hard drugs or anything, right? It was just me in this dark room by myself, kind of like this, but like with the lights off. You know, all the windows were painted over and had like magazine cutouts all over the fucking windows so you couldn't see in, bars on my windows so you couldn't get in or out if you wanted to. And that was it, right? So like Evan and me shot dope for 3 or 4 days in my apartment, and then he was like, oh no, man, I just realized that it's my anniversary tomorrow and I have to fly to Tribeca, and he just left. So like my habit went from like probably a couple $100 a day to like $1,000 a day with his black Amex card over the last week. And then he just bounced and left me alone with nothing.
Oh boy.
And I was 118 pounds. Because I wasn't eating at all. I was just shooting drugs. And I remember I had a piece of Trident gum in a bowl on my kitchen table. It was all I had left. I sold the TV and the DVD player, all the shit. All I had left was this fruit bowl, this table with a bunch of carvings on it, and a chair and a piece of Trident. And I remember I was like saving that piece of Trident for a couple of days. And
for
I was
a good
like,
time?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to eat that one.
Yeah.
And I put it in my mouth. I remember when I put it in my mouth, it was like Thanksgiving dinner. It was like fucking Willy Wonka.
I'm going to eat that one day.
It was like stuffing and cranberry sauce, like the whole nine. I was just like I felt full. That's how fucked up I was. I'm 160 pounds now, so you can imagine what 40 pounds less looks on me.
Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy. I never saw my dad cry, but when I went home to kick that last time, he cried. He saw me get out of the shower, and he was just like, and I still wasn't done. Like my buddy back in Jersey, Jerry, the guy, oh, look at the bubbles on his hands. Yeah. He was like a pillhead, and he was doing oxys. And he's like, dude, I haven't seen you in years. I'm going to come visit you. And I get in a car, and I was still a little high because I had just landed. Like I called my mom again. Evan left. I called my mom. She's enabler that she is. God bless her heart. She got me a plane ticket.
Got you home.
And this is after 9/11. She sent me $200 and a plane ticket. She's like, just some money so you can eat, honey. So I went and got all the dope and the coke with the $200, and I was like, I emptied out a pack of Marlboro Reds, the tobacco, and I put all the dope and the coke in the cigarettes. This is after 9/11 when they started really cracking down. It's like 2000.
TSA.
This is like 2005, 2006 now.
Okay.
So they're really cracking down. And I put all my drugs in a pack of cigarettes, and I put my syringes right here. If you cut this part out, you could put your syringes in there. And most cops are really homophobic, so they won't fucking touch your dick.
They won't grab you. Yeah.
So they never checked me there. And I got, the beep went off. The lady was checking my cigarettes in the TSA, and I was like, and she was like looking through them, and she goes, okay. She throws me my cigarettes back. I put them in my pocket. I go through the thing. It goes off, and they're like, what's that? And I had a giant skull belt buckle, and I was like, and they were like, all right, come on.
Yeah.
Walk right through, get on the plane, and I'm just shooting drugs in the bathroom the entire way home. And I couldn't hit because it was like the cabin pressure was super weird, so I couldn't hit my vein. I couldn't feel it. So I was just blowing fucking abscess shots into my arm the whole way back to New York. I get to New York. I go to my mom's. My mom's living in Woodstock again at this point. So I stay at my dad's for a few days, and then I go to my mom's, and I just lay on her couch. And it took me 3 months to kick. I'm not even joking. Like 3 straight months. I was dope sick for 3 months because I was fucking also chewing Norcos. Like I was going to the fucking electric chair. I was doing oxys. I was sucking on the oxys and shooting them up. And I was just, I was a mess, man. Like my arms were just pain cushions. My veins were all dead. And so that was it, dude. I just laid on her couch. I tried to go to meetings, but I couldn't get up, Yeah. And then so like 3 months in, I moved back to LA. I was like, I gotta get out of New York. I can't stay here. And that was it. That was like the big journey for me. That's when I went back to AA. As soon as I got there, it was like the rules of my engagement. I had to go to AA and do the work. Mm-hmm. But I didn't do the work. I went to AA and my bottom was so bad that I stayed sober for 10 and a half years. Got a music career. I got to do a bunch of cool shit. And but I still didn't do the work. But I got to travel the world. Now I'm traveling the world. I'm doing all this cool shit. I'm playing with like these massive bands. And I'm like, I made it. You know what I mean? Like finally, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm not dope sick anymore. I'm an advocate of AA, but I don't do the work. I go to meetings 2-3 times a day. I'm fucking the king of AA.
And no work.
No work.
2 to 3 a day.
But I was fine. But I was sick. So sick. And I was just fucking everything that moved, getting a reputation. My reputation is still to this day so gnarly. And I stayed sober for 10 and a half years. Just going to meetings because I was playing
pure physical sobriety.
Because all those people that I was looking up to in the magazines, those metal magazines when I was a kid that were like crushing beer cans over their head and holding up Grolsch bottles and shit, they're all sober now. Like all those guys, most of the guys in fucking, they're all advocates now, but like, Metallica, fucking all those guys,
right.
Megadeth, they're all sober. So it's cool to be sober, dude. You go to AA and you run into fucking all your heroes. You know what I mean? And so it was like easy to stay sober. And I was getting gigs because I was sober. Like I can't play when I'm loaded.
You be trusted.
Yeah, I could be trusted. I'm really good. I learned how to play by ear so I could pick up shit really quick. And I started playing with Corey and all those guys. I was in like Stone Sour. Then I got a job in ministry. I finally got to play with Sebastian Bach. I played with him for a couple of years. And I was in this band called Black President. It was like a super group with the guys from like Goldfinger and fucking Circle Jerks and shit like that. And I got to have a great time and it was super fun. I had a kid in the middle of that with some actress and it was like the light of my life still, even though we're having a rough go right now because he's 13. And so in 2017, I joined this band Ministry, and that was like my last stint of sobriety. I was running a lot. I was jogging. I was really taking care of myself, but I was still smoking cigarettes. Shit. But I was like running, and my body started breaking down. So I was like, oh, if I start smoking weed, that'll be an anti-inflammatory, and I'll be okay. And then, so I started smoking weed, and that's it. Nothing major happened. Nothing crazy happened. I didn't burn the world down. My life. I didn't start shooting dope immediately. I didn't start drinking. I was just smoking weed because the weed now is so fucking strong. You may as well be doing heroin half the time. But I did that for like fucking 5 years. The pandemic hit. I tried to get sober again on Zoom. I stayed sober for like 8 months. This and that. You know what I mean? Like I just in and out, in and out, in and out. And then 6 months ago, my son got taken away from me because I was like buying weed by the pound. I was fucking dealing it to all his fucking friends' parents and shit like that. I was a complete sex addict and doing all these fucking insane things with chicks and shit and like just out of control. So his mother is just like, you're a fucking terrible influence for your son. I'm taking him away from you for 30 days. And then in that 30 days, turns out that he didn't want to be anywhere near me for some other shit that was going on. I was a fucking real bad dad. And I wasn't abusive or anything, you know, like intentionally, but like I just couldn't be around him anymore, you know, and I didn't see him for like 4 months. But I got sober as soon as that happened. Actually, I got sober 2 days before that happened. Before she came over to my house, I was like, I'm taking your son away from you. I got 2 days before that, I was like, I got to get sober. I threw all my weed away, and I started going to Zoom meetings in AA. And I'll have 6 months back in 4 days, right? So I'm still a newcomer, but like I got a sponsor that's a fucking the gnarliest AA dude ever. Like all he does is help people, like all the time. And
those are the best.
I worked with him for like 3 months straight and got pretty much almost all the way through my 4th step. But then I was like, oh, I feel great. I'm good. I just stopped doing the work, right? So that's been like a little over a month now. And I literally called him last week. I was like, hey, man, I love you. I miss you. I got to start getting back in the work. And
you still got to do 4?
I got to do the 4th column in 4.
Okay.
Right, I'm on the last column. So he calls me back, and he's like, he's real old school. And he's like, so what happened? So I go through this big rigmarole of fucking, my baby's mama and her boyfriend and this and that, and I fucking blah, 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 and fucking 20 minutes of me blah, blah, blah. And then I stopped talking. I was like, so that's what happened. And he goes, yeah, I know who you are, Jason, but that's not what I meant. What happened? Why'd you stop calling me? And I was like, oh. I was like, I don't know. I just didn't want to do the work anymore or whatever we say, you know?
Yeah.
And he goes, that's real selfish, man. And like nobody ever said that shit to me before like that about step work.
Stung.
I've had like 20 sponsors in my sobriety probably, and I've just stopped working with them. And then I'd call them back and they'd be like, yeah, man, you want to get back together and start doing the work again? That's cool. But like, he was like, that's real rude shit, man. He's like, we were working. I was giving you my time all the time, every day. And then you're just going to stop calling me without even a fucking reason? He's like, that's some fucking lame shit, dude. He's like, I'll start working with you again, but you got to be all in and none of this, you know, like what a real good sponsor would say to you, you know? And I was like, okay, you know, like you're right. 55 years old, I felt like a fucking kid again, you know? I was like, I'm sorry, Dad.
Well, yeah, it stings.
Yeah. But he really struck a chord with me.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh yeah, I've been wasting people's time and ruining people's lives. And, you know, I went viral a couple of years ago because I got blacklisted because of some bullshit that I did, right? Like during the COVID years, I fucking came to rehearsals sick and didn't really know I was sick, but I kind of knew I was sick, but I went to rehearsal anyway and like put everybody's lives in jeopardy and just didn't give a fuck about anything. You know what I mean? And I was real arrogant about that shit. So I got fired from my dream job. Like I had a job with Corey and his solo project, and we were fucking doing all these huge things, man. And I was like, played the Forum in LA and I was making these $1 million rock videos. I was like in it. And I was making it, and I was like doing podcasts, and like people knew my name, and I finally got I was getting what I wanted, you know, like I was getting that shit, and I lost it all along with my friends in one day because I just decided to show up to rehearsal sick, knowing I probably had COVID, but I don't know yet because I didn't get my results. You know, next day I got the results, and they were like, dude, you're a piece of shit. And I blamed them for like years, you know. I was like, I didn't know I was sick, but like I knew I was sick. You know what I mean? Like I was just a real selfish, self-centered piece of fucking shit.
That's what we are. That's what we are.
That's how we act, right? And then that shit, and then I was just a sex addict and a scumbag, and that shit was like bleeding over into my son's life and like all this crazy shit. So his mom freaked out and like took him away from me. She's like, dude, I was like having arguments with my fucking girlfriend in earshot of him. You know what I mean? Like he was like catching me doing some weird shit, and I was, because he's older now, and I'm used to him being a kid, you know, and like,
right.
I was like, oh fuck, you know, like, oh, get out of here, you know, like whatever. So like all this mortifying shit that I'm doing because now I'm older, and if you don't take care of that shit, the older you get, the weirder that shit gets, right? So like now here I am, 55 years old, and I'm realizing that the shit's not under everybody else's shoe, it's under mine. And it's my responsibility to take care of the shit that's under my shoe that everybody else has been smelling for fucking 30 years of my stints in recovery.
That's humility right there.
No, I'll tell you what humility is, right? So I had this dream job. We're playing the Forum, LA Lakers, Kiss, Alive 2, all the stuff. I'm fucking, you know, I'm just the shit. You can't tell me what to do. I could say anything to anybody, but I'm fucking best friends with the king, so you can't hurt me, you know? He'll be pissed and fuck you up. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. And now 5 years later, after whining for 4 of them, I was living off my girlfriend for that 4 years, dude, because I wasn't making any money. I only make money when I tour. I've been around the world probably 100 times with some of the biggest bands and some of the biggest artists in the world. And now I'm sitting on a couch just smoking a pound of weed a month, fucking suicidal, playing guitar, posting shit on the internet, blaming everybody else for my bullshit. And I called a supermarket around the corner from my house and asked if I can work there. And they said yes. So with I had 30 days sober, and I got a job at a supermarket.
Wow.
In the meat department.
Wow.
And I remember when I walked into the supermarket for the first time, because everybody in Sedona, I moved to Sedona 5 years ago, and everybody just knows me as like the guy who had a kid with the actress, who's like a rock star and knows this guy and that guy, and fucking,
sure,
you know, best friends with Danny Bonaducci, and like all this shit, right? All this, the lies that I tell, not right, lies, but like the story.
Embellishment.
Yeah, the shit that I tell everybody, that I want everybody to think I'm this fucking dude, that's going to be an icon one day.
Yeah.
Right? And, so I go up into the break room to get my fucking Safeway hat and my butcher jacket and my name tag. And I remember walking down into the supermarket, and I was fucking mortified, man. I was just like, $18 an hour on the books. Here's my Safeway name tag. I'm just Jason, the guy that works at the supermarket. Because I've always you don't look at people when you go into the supermarket that work there. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I always look down upon people like that as they were missing a chromosome or something. You know what I mean? Like they were all just some weird. You don't take
that second to, hey, how are you?
Acknowledge anybody. Yeah. You're just like, hey, where's the chips?
Yeah, right.
What aisle is the peanut butter in? You know what I mean?
You're right.
And you don't really look at those people. And I noticed that when I started working there, because people I knew were coming in asking me for things, not knowing it was me. Because you don't look at people directly in the eye and acknowledge that they're human beings when they're in that position of work, right? They're just fucking amoebas that need to help you. That's what I thought anyway. Right. That was my perception of it all. So I was fucking mortified that I just became that person. Now I'm not even a person anymore. I'm just a dude in a supermarket. And I don't know, man. Something changed over the past couple of months, and I just started working at that. I got sober, and I started doing the work and like calling my sponsor every day and doing all that stuff. And I started working at that supermarket like I owned it, like it was mine, and taking care of it like it was mine, and really caring about the job, which is weird because I've never really hadn't had a real job in a long time.
That's gratitude.
Yeah, it was totally grateful. I was absolutely grateful for the job. I was getting a steady paycheck, whether it was only fucking $500 a week or not. And I was just grateful to have it. Yeah. I started giving my girlfriend half the rent, paying my car payment, paying my insurance, paying for my food, not food stamps from the government. You know what I mean? Like I was sucking everybody dry, dude, and just wanting to. I'm Sicilian, right? So like a Sicilian man from New Jersey and New York is very bravado and like has to drive the car and has to pay the check and has to hold the door and this and that. You know, he's the man, the patriarch or whatever the fuck they call that shit. And I just wasn't for years. I never really was to begin with, honestly. And I just got used to living off my girlfriend, and it became very comfortable. And
I'm sure
I was super comfortable just being a douche and a succubus. And so when I got that job, I just was like, all right, man, you're just the dude that works at the supermarket now. You're not a rock star, and you never were. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. And I just started praying and going to meetings every day and going to Zoom meetings every day, doing the work, first step, second step, third step, writing out my fourth step. And I immediately got a promotion. And they were like, hey, would you like to manage the seafood department of the meat department? You know, right? So like now, and I was working from, my job was so gnarly, dude. I was working from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. was my shift. So it like really fucks your whole day up.
Yeah, weird.
I was the closer. So I'd go in at 1 and I would make like 100 chicken kebabs and then split all this chicken and make the case look nice. And then the butchers would leave. And then I would have to clean the entire kitchen. I would have to like hose the whole thing down, take all the machines apart, wash them all by hand, hose it down, soap it down, sanitize it, like wash all the soap down with the water again, sanitize it, like a really gnarly, humiliating, for me, a humiliating job, right? Just like a normal, regular job that a normal, regular person would do.
Right.
Like, but I don't fucking think I'm a normal, regular person. I think I'm this superior fucking being
grandiose
that just wants and deserves to get paid to be me, right? And my son is taken away from me. Everything's gone. My girlfriend is just so tired of my bullshit. Nobody wants anything to do with me anymore. Nobody's calling me for any gigs at all. I can't get like the smallest gig anymore, right? And it's that level of accept it. It's like acceptance or not, right? Accept it or like, what do they say? Change or die, right? That's a NA saying, or on the East Coast, I remember they had a big sign on the wall, change or die, motherfucker. And they'd slam the table.
I mean,
but I never changed ever in my whole life. So this was like my first real experience with change and humility, like real humility, not just like coming to AA and
hanging out.
I'm so humble now.
Yeah.
You know, like fake humilities
Yeah.
so I could get the job or whatever, you know, like I did sober companion work for a long time and, you know, it's just all bullshit, man. It's all bravado. It's all garbage. And, so now I'm really just like in it and I'm back in it now. Like I'm going to talk to him. He's like, call me when you get back from Columbus and we're going to get back into your fourth step and you're going to fucking do it. We're going to start working every day like we were. And I was like, you got it, man. You know? So
have you done a 4-step before?
Kind of.
How
do you do a 4th step when you have no humility?
Well, yeah.
No change, right?
Yeah,
you write shit on a piece of paper.
Yeah, you're writing shit down.
But you don't really give a fuck about it. I'll read it to somebody because I don't give a fuck. I'll tell you anything you want to know. I'm an open book like that.
Doesn't matter.
You know what I mean? You ask me, I'll tell you. You don't like the truth, go fuck yourself. That's like how I live.
Right.
But like, so that's to my advantage for sure. But like,
well, it's just not that scary.
I've never taken anybody through the work.
Okay.
Right? Like that's where the real magic is.
Yeah.
So I hear that's where the real rocketing into the 4th dimension shit happens when you take other people through the work. Like there's not 12 steps. My buddy Mike D from LA says there's not 12 steps, man. There's 24. You do the 12 steps and then you take somebody else through the 12 steps. And that's how it works.
I like that.
Right? It's not just 12.
I like that.
You do that shit and then you stop at 12, you're going to get loaded or you're going to be banging hookers or whatever the fuck, you
there's
do.
There's pain that comes with that too, though, because you take guys in, you sponsor them, and then they fucking go back out. And
how many times did I do that to fucking dudes that bought me cheeseburgers, Rob wasted so much gas on me, driving back and forth to my mom's, picking me up, driving me to Nyack every day.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Until it was too late. You know? So now I'm 55. I work in a supermarket, and I'm totally cool with it. And it's funny because they just found out that like I played music, you know, because I had to go. My buddy Jason Bittner from this band Shadows Fall, he does this thing called the Extreme Music Awards in Albany, and he's a really good friend of mine. And he was like, "Hey man, you want to come out and play a couple of songs with some rock stars and have some fun?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So I went out, and the guys at work were like, "Where you going, man?" I was like, "Oh, I got to do this." Like, I got a little ego in me. I was like, "I got to go do this like little award show or whatever." You know, they're like, "What?" You know, and they were like, and then so like they Googled my name, and like everybody in the supermarket was like, "Dude, you fucking played in Ministry, and you got to play in Stone Sour," and like all this crazy shit. So I was like. But like I didn't go in there like
guns blazing.
I'm from Ministry.
Yeah, right.
I played in this band for a year. Like,
right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like I didn't write any of the cool songs that they played. I was just a hired gun that got really lucky with some really cool friends that really gave me a fucking path to take that I took complete advantage of and shit on.
Yeah.
And I fucking ruined every opportunity. I've had more opportunities in the music business than most. Like I've had probably 30 opportunities that I've just blown because of my fucking bravado and my ego and my arrogance, and never took care of it. So it just got weirder, and I got more self-righteous, and I just got
it's dangerous,
worse and worse and worse, right? And then it becomes blaming just becomes my thing.
Yeah,
it's easy. Nobody's fucking. I'm right. I'll fucking justify anything.
Yep.
And it's bullshit.
Yep.
So I'm just kind of going through that right now. Like my world is opening up.
You're reminding me that it's probably time for me to go for another round.
Yeah, man.
You know
Take
what I
someone
mean?
else through the steps for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, watch their light come on or dim or whatever. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
You know, like that's not why my sponsor is very big on working with others. That's like his thing. It's all he's ever done. And he's huge. He's like a fucking huge stuntman. He's an actor. He's like a huge UFC guy. You've seen him get killed in like 30 movies. You know, if I showed you a picture of him, you'd be like, "Oh, that fucking guy." Like I showed Drake a picture and he was like, "That's your fucking sponsor." You know what I mean? But you won't know any of that because all he does is fucking help dudes, you know? And he's a real good example for me. So I got to start taking his lead and his path.
Yeah.
If I want any type of success, because like I'm a super talented motherfucker, dude. I like write the songs that I write are fucking great, but nobody wants anything to do with them because of me. You know, like nobody cares about your music if you're not many Kanyes make it. You know what I mean? Like
it's a good point.
So like, you know, I'm just here to fucking try to be of service to others so I could be a better dad to my son. Really. Is like my only thing. Yeah. He just started talking to me again. He's like comes over for dinner every once in a while with his buddies. We're taking it real slow. His mom and her boyfriend fucking still loathe the shit out of me, and I kind of loathe them too, but it's not their fault. You know what I mean? Like it's all my doing. I did all this destruction and shit that I gotta fix now.
What would you tell either yourself or somebody that's out there still struggling today? What would your message to them be, or to yourself be?
I mean, how many millions of people are in AA? Successfully going through life and doing the work. There's a lot of us now, right? There's a lot of people in AA that have done the steps and have changed dramatically, psychically, and are now living a fourth dimension life, right? So not all those people can be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, where did that get me in the past of just thinking I could do it my own way? You know?
Right,
like,
back to the same
My sponsor
spot.
says, don't try to solve your fourth dimension problems with third dimension solutions. And I was like, whoa, that's some heavy shit.
Yeah, it is.
Because we got fourth dimension problems, man. We don't fucking hang like normal people.
Right.
We don't think like normal people.
No.
We don't act like normal people. We don't resent like normal people.
Fuck no.
You know?
Yeah, when I get a resentment, man.
Like,
ooh.
Dude, I'll be in the car, beautiful day, my Jeep. I don't deserve any of that shit. I should have been dead a long time ago. So anything after that fact is a gift, good or bad, right? So like I'm driving down the car saying a light prayer, God help me, fucking God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as I will. Put my blinker on to get over. Dude speeds up. I'm ready to ram him off the fucking road immediately, right?
Yeah.
How dare you fucking speed up on me while I'm trying to get over? God, fucking shut your mouth. Boom! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I'm in jail for road rage. That's how I work. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
So I have to do more work than most because I'm super sick. you know?
Dude, props to you for getting back up as many times as you did.
Yeah, dude, I'm like Rocky Marciano.
Holy fucking shit. I mean, to get back up over and over and over, and I mean, it's got to be exhausting.
My spiritual advisor in that CCP program that I was in, he taught me what the word resilient meant because so I got 6 months, right? And at like 90 days I was getting good behavior, and they were like, "Hey, Jason, we're going to let you out in like a week." So I was only going to do a little over 90 days. And I was like, "Oh, it's fucking amazing." Because like 3 months in jail, no matter what you're in, is like a long fucking time,
Sucks.
right? And then 2 days later, they were like, "Oh, sorry, we can't. You have to do the full 6." And I didn't flip out. Like I was like, "Oh, all right. I guess I'll just sit here for another 3 months," right? And I went into the thing, and he was like, "Jason, you're very resilient," because most people would really freak out over that. You know what I mean? So like I have this amazing amount of resilience in my, it's like, and how can you not believe in God? Like I've been dead. I've OD'd so many times. I've had my friends pound, like I've come to soaking wet with my friends, like pounding on my chest. Everybody's crying. Like, I'm like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like I was dead, not breathing, like whatever. Like I should be dead, but I'm not. I shouldn't be sober. I should be fucking homeless on Skid Row. Nobody should be talking to me anymore. People keep giving me second, third, fourth, fifth, 10, 15, 20 chances, man. Like my baby's mama's giving me more chances than fuck, dude. Like I don't even know than like people give Trump chances. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how many opportunities I've had, blown, gotten again, will get again, and I'll keep getting them because I just am me. And I have that fucking resilience and that tenacity and that honesty to keep going. And like, if you're not grateful, then you're resentful, right? Like if you're not grateful, you're miserable. Is that, I don't know what their actual saying is, but like,
no, that's pretty spot on.
If you're not grateful, then you're in resentment. So I just try to stay fucking grateful.
Miserable.
Yeah. I got to get up every morning at 5 a.m. to go work in a 38-degree kitchen in a supermarket every day. And I don't make $1,000 a week. I was bitching about what Corey was paying me for like playing an hour a night a few times a week, making like $1,500 a week. You know what I mean? I was bitching about that money. So this is God being like, "Hey man, this is what like the real world is. Why don't you spin around in that for a while?" And I'm fucking totally cool with it. Like if this is just my end game, cool, man. Then it's my end game.
As long as you stay sober.
That's all that matters, dude, because I'm grateful now. I've got my son back in my life. All that other shit that's mucky in my waters is going to fade away as long as I do the work and I help other people.
Exactly right.
And that's it, man. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Dude, thank you.
It's been such a great
seriously, thank you. Your stories are fucking incredible.
Thanks, man.
I mean, seriously, I respect you for...
I appreciate that.
Like I said, getting back up, getting back to the rooms, it's not easy to fucking do.
No,
There's so many people who go back out and do not come back.
Not many of us make it back, especially junkies. Like not many junkies make it off the methadone line.
Yeah.
Or make it
Suboxone,
to the methadone line.
Fucking,
all the shit that they got now to keep you strung out on insurance money and everybody making millions off your fucking dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing that I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore.
Especially working at a supermarket. It's like sacrilege.
Dude, they all reek like fucking Marlboro Reds. It's
fucking
so gross.
Sacrilege.
At least I have all my chromosomes.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you too, man. Even though your other fucking host didn't show up.
Piece of shit.
Piece of shit.
Fucking piece of shit.
Fucker.
That's that. Thanks, man.
All right, dog.